members.
Oh, dunk train.
So you need to hold that for the show.
Yeah, you need to calm down with that, Zoya.
Any final thoughts before we go live?
Cut it off, Jake.
All right, guys, we're gonna get ready to start Town Hall. We will. Ooh, I gotta fix something first. My pooter's being pooty.
That candle, though.
I
All
don't
right,
get the
guys,
candles.
we're gonna get ready to start the episode. See you in just a bit.
You didn't cut yet?
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Town Hall Heroes, episode number 79, where we will be recapping the America's Championship. My name is Solid Jake, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Kubi, Zoya, King Caffeine, and Dunk Train, who are now the champions of America.
For what game?
Heroes of the Storm.
Ah.
Well done. Well done. Now, let's go through it. Dunk, this is, you've been on many times, but Caffeine, this is your first time appearing at Town Hall. Welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. I'm JP, King Caffeine Lopez. Play the Warrior for Cloud9 Maelstrom. We got a pretty good showing this weekend.
Get these.
Pretty good showing.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. King Caffeine, of course, is the Warrior on Cloud9. We also
The
have
one
the
and only.
You said that.
Damn. But, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
my segue. And then I said we also have their support player, Dunk Train.
Hi.
Your webcam works today, buddy.
That does.
It does.
Are you proud
It
of yourself?
extra
Your, like,
works.
6th or 7th time on the show, Dunkus.
Yeah, probably.
Are you the guestiest?
I think
host,
he is.
guest?
I think I am.
I think he is the guestiest.
Well, I'm honored to be on the show with Dunk Train.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. You should try playing with him once.
Oh,
Nah.
Pretty good,
well,
this
yeah, he's pretty good. Solid. He's. Donkey, I know you've never
Hi.
been to Vegas before. How was your experience?
It was actually really cool going to Vegas and seeing all that stuff for the first time. Like, I just never really understood, how bright and shiny everything would be and all the hotels and stuff. It's like really crazy, man. Everyone should have that experience.
Dunk Train's from Vegas. Kubi, what's up, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Got to cast a little bit, do some analysis stuff, get on the stage. Good times. Got to watch some sweet games. Got to see all the players. That was amazing. Meeting everybody. Everyone is really awesome. This community is just fantastic.
Too good.
It really is. Every single gaming community I've been in, nothing compares to this. I can say that with a fact for sure. After having met everyone, it's always a great time, especially at these LAN events. Other than that, we're gonna dive into all the details, so I'll save it for that.
Lord Zoloff himself.
Yeah, man. I was the shot caller for the observers at this last weekend. I didn't actually do any of the in-game camera work. I would just tell them where to look when I was doing it. I didn't do it every game. But I had a different role at this event, which was I actually like doing a lot. I also managed the team. We qualified for Blizzcon, which is kind of like been a storyline building up since the start of this game, since SMG was originally the dominant team throughout the alpha. They got kind of snubbed at last year's Blizzcon. Not to say that these Liquid guys here did not deserve to go there. They were also one of the other teams that deserved to be
These
there.
Liquid
but
guys.
They were
So,
Liquid
that's
at
true,
the time.
that's true.
A lot of
They
people
were
would be
Liquid
really
at the time.
confused by that, but yeah, Calf, Dunk, and Biceps were originally Team Liquid. Team Liquid is originally an NA team.
Yeah. So this is finally these guys' chance to be at BlizzCon, and pretty excited about it because I couldn't have asked for two better teams from North America to be representing our region there, and we're both looking to take down the Koreans, the Chinese. So not really worried about EU, but those other two regions, yeah, we're ready, man.
Waiting for it.
In there
always
we
that.
are. All right. Yeah, just kind of
all right.
echoing.
Before we dive into
Well,
stuff,
I got to do my
Calf.
intros, buddy.
I know, but I want to hear more about Calf's background because we've heard from Dunk in terms of his gaming background, but Calf, tell us about you got into Heroes and all that, and what you were doing before Heroes.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't really know about competitive games until recently. I always played games, but I couldn't really follow it because I went straight out of high school into the military, and then into school, and then into work, and then I never really realized that there was a little section of humanity out there that actually loved watching video games and would pay you to play them. And then it started exploding, and I found out about Heroes of the Storm. Seemed like a really fun game. I'd been playing Dota just for fun, and played Han, and then League of Legends, and Heroes of the Storm comes out. It's like, oh my god, a Blizzard MOBA. This is going to be the hot, and it was. So here I am.
Very cool. We'll talk more about the team in just a bit, but overall, yeah, from casting perspective, Vegas was the dream, guys. Casting with a crowd that understands what's important and what to get excited about. The number of casts where we bring high energy and stuff from home, sometimes it felt like it's hard to judge, should I be super excited? What feels forced? What feels a little bit too exciting? But on stage, everything is exciting because the crowd loves it. They eat it up, and it just feels so much more natural. And I'm sure as a player, you guys felt that roaring crowd on the stage. Sure, you guys have, you have earbuds in within a headset that's pumping white noise over your heads, right? Over your ears?
Just over the tops of their heads.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the basic idea.
Yeah, they're trying to soundproof you guys without an actual booth. But I'm sure you could still feel the crowd, right?
Yeah, if you open your mouth, you can hear it too. Even way more. The sound gets in. No, I'm serious. When your mouth's open, or when you're yawning, you can totally hear the crowd.
See, that's how
He's
easy this
being
tournament was.
serious.
Dunk Train was just
No,
yawning
no,
the
I'm
whole
being
time.
serious.
It's ancestral heal.
Well, a little bit. All I have to do is press
I
a
just
few
made a
buttons,
sick play.
so,
Hold on, guys. Let me see if they noticed.
Yeah, basically.
I'm feeling clapping.
I'm feeling clapping. All right, well, in Town Hall episode number 79, we're going to talk about Cloud9 as a team and kind of the past, present, and future. We're going to be doing just a bit of a recap on Vegas, the North America Regionals, preps for BlizzCon for the team and how everybody should be preparing as we know our two NA teams, the EU Regionals, which are happening just over a week from now, about 9 days. And then some quick thoughts on heroes like Rexxar, quick thoughts on stuff like Lane Clear. We talked about a bit already, but we have caffeine on the show, so I want to touch on some warrior topics when caffeine is here. And yeah, just kind of, and just updates in general. But so opening up the gates, let's talk about Vegas, because that is the freshest thing. What was everyone's expectations going into this event? Like, in terms of Blizzard, we think about the history of Heroes. BlizzCon last year was like, a little invite with brands, not real teams, right? Liquid was the only real team present, e.g., I guess. But, like, not having Symbiote made it seem fraudulent to a lot of people because they were dominant at the time. And then we go to Dorm, and it's like they're putting all this money in. It's on ESPN, but it's strictly collegiate. This feels like the first true Heroes LAN. And I just want to know what everyone was going into it expecting, really.
I was really surprised at the live audience turnout. I figured because it was in Vegas, you have a lot of younger audience. Let's be real, esports is definitely a large part of viewership are younger than 21, younger than 18. So I was not expecting the turnout to be as big as it was. But day one, we almost had a packed house, and for the grand finals, it was basically full. Which was not what I was expecting at all. Not even close. I was expecting half that for the grand finals. So, day one expectation, within the first hour of Tempo Storm versus Murlocs, the place was packed. There were so many people there, which was really cool. When we did the signing booths as well, so many people were coming up to the teams and just asking for signatures and stuff. It was really cool. I was not expecting that turnout for such a young game.
Viewership-wise, I figured that we would probably break anything that's been on Twitch, with the exception of Dorm, because we don't really actually know what the general viewership was for Dorm. I figured we'd break it. I thought we did really good. Getting just about 50K concurrent I'm very happy to see that. And like Jared was saying, esports for Heroes up until this point has been, I'm not going to say bad, but no one's really quite sure. I think after this weekend, yeah, it's pretty good, because Dorm was a packed audience, but it was also in the middle of a bunch of colleges in the middle of LA, right? People definitely had to go out of their way to travel to Vegas for this, for sure, and they filled it up. And you knew, being in the venue, that everyone was a big fan of what was going on. So that was just really exciting and reaffirming to hear and see.
Cloud9?
Hi. So I think even coming at this from the production of the event side of it, it was really well organized, I felt like, relative to everything we've dealt with before. And we've seen Blizzard do this for their casts for the opens and stuff, where they're really on point about timetables and scheduling and making sure everything happens promptly. But even making sure the players had rooms, all of the scheduling was laid out. Yeah, there was a lot of media stuff to do that sucks to do before the event and stuff, but I felt like they did a really good job accommodating the players, so I was really happy with that. And the number of Blizzard employees and stuff who seemed really excited about the game, and all the players and stuff, it was just insane how much they love the game and esports.
Yeah, for me, after BlizzCon, we kind of had an idea what to expect, from the production side, and it was like that. It was really awesome. They had a great place for the players. Like Dunk was saying, they had really good timetables, and they're pretty organized. The thing that surprised me the most was the fan turnout, especially for us, I guess, because we were the underdog. So that probably won a lot of people's hearts. But when we got there, the crowd was cheering for us so loud, and we had lines upon lines of people coming to get our autographs, which is super weird. I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting MGA at PAX, where there was a small audience, no one really knew anything about it. But this event, everyone was there for Heroes. And it was super hyped to see that it was just our community that could do that. So it was awesome.
Yeah, you guys had 15 minutes straight, right, of signing. I heard it was
an hour.
Oh, it was much longer than that.
It was 45 minutes.
Literally sat there for an hour signing.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Straight.
Our team signed at least over 100. They were Tempo and Cloud9's lines were insane. I remember I had to go to Dream to get my phone, and their line was just as long, if not longer, than ours. The turnouts for at least our two teams, there was only signing booths I went to, but those lines were long. It was really cool to see.
So we talked a lot about the crowd and the viewership and the reception in that regard. But what about the way you guys were treated by Blizzard? Like, how did you feel that was done? Because that's something a lot of organizations really struggle with.
I think Dunk kind of touched on it a little bit, but they were like extremely open, you know, like they're just like hanging out with us in the lounge, sitting down, you know, they were there, they gave us their time to like answer questions. Anytime we needed anything, we all had all the teams had their own player managers from Blizzard, and they were on top of everything like throughout the day. So yeah, they paid a huge amount of attention to us, and it made it really easy.
Yeah, we felt like real humans at the event, like at MGA and like other events and stuff. Like people saw the C9 gear and like they'll ask you what team you're on. Like they don't know who you are. Oh, you're not on the league team. Bye. We don't care about you. But at this event, like everyone like knows who you are, and it was like really, really insane to go from like it's such a shock to go from being like basically a nobody at like PAX or whatever to like we're at this Blizzard event and everyone like knows who you are and is like super hyped that you're there and like really welcoming. It was amazing.
Yeah, this is a big test too for it being a heroes only event.
Yeah.
And to see that, like the huge turnout, like you were saying, that's
turnout in Vegas,
really
which
awesome.
like lowered, like you have to expect Vegas, you won't get like everybody that could have gone, and then the viewership I believe peaked at 56,000, which more than doubles any esport event for heroes, which is just it felt like it was starting to stagnate there for a while. All three opens average between like 18 and 21K.
Here's the crazy thing, though. Here's the nice fact is like all the opens had something big against them. Whether it was like League of Legends having their regionals or Evo happened during one of the events.
CS:GO event.
Yeah, CS:GO.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff.
It was always paired against something big, and this felt like this was Heroes Weekend, right? It felt like that was the biggest thing happening, and Heroes was like really high up on Twitch, number 2, number 3, all weekend long, which it has never done, really, ever. And people seemed excited about the games and seemed to be really into it and enjoying it. The crowd itself, I could talk a whole episode about just how much of a difference that makes just for the affirmation of like what the game is and how exciting it is to view in a live perspective, like a live audience.
Yeah, it was really cool. The only real gripe I have is like if you go like, have you ever been to an MLG and stuff? When MLG is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, there's literally Dr. Pepper everywhere. This event sponsored by Totino's. I didn't get a single pizza roll this whole damn event.
That's true. Man has a point.
Damn.
Like what the hell, Blizzard?
I didn't either.
I would have eaten the shitload of those pizza rolls, but
it's a good thing you didn't. We all would have been slayed if we ate tons and tons of pizza rolls. It would not have been a good idea. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the bracket. Let me just pull that up really quickly here and see if I can make this look even remotely decent.
Let me check to see if there's any questions on the Reddit.
Don't show this. Why is my face there? Why am I like? Why do I have to be on this page as an observer? That's so dumb.
It was just a question mark. At least you're not a question mark.
Well, yeah, it shouldn't be a question mark. It should be 323.
Damn, we'll get to that soon. So we got the teams, we got the group stage, Cloud9. There's a bit of a controversy about sandbagging in the group stage.
How's that a controversy?
I mean, some like.
Is there rules against sandbagging?
No.
No.
But no rules against sandbagging.
There are randoms like throwing a fit about it. Might as well clear it up now.
You can argue it from like a morality standpoint, like ethics or whatever, but like they didn't break any rules doing that.
I'm looking for.
We're arguing for them,
Yeah.
Kobe. Would you shut up and let them talk? We're defending C9.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Sandbagging means like not playing your best, right? Sandbagging it's a term. I always thought it came from Smash because you in Smash Brothers in try mode you beat up a sandbag and it just kind of sits there and takes a beating. So as far as I understand, that's where the term comes from.
That's the wrong word. That's definitely the wrong word.
Yeah, sandbagging is like intentionally
what we were doing.
throwing, like to like
sandbagging.
Yeah,
first, like if you sandbag in scrims, you're just playing bad to like make them think
Yeah.
you're better.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a much bigger difference between that and like actually
They
hiding
didn't
strategies.
sandbag. Yeah, they hid strategies like
Yeah.
All the group stages did was it was seeding into the next bracket. Like nothing outside of that made sense, that worked. So if you're confident enough, you're willing to take the risk to like not hide to hide a strategy versus your best composition. Because if you look at the group stages, Tempo Storm 2-0'd Cloud9. They admitted that they did hide strategies during that match. So during the grand finals, because if you look at the history of Heroes of the Storm, if things held true here, like since the two teams have been dominant since like I guess April, end of April when we stopped losing the complexity, it's been us two in the finals every single tournament. So if you're willing to take that risk, which they were, they hid their strategies from us in the group stages. They got we knew we would be on the opposite side of the bracket. They played their matches versus Cognitive. We played ours versus complexity, and they hadn't shown their strategies versus us in the group stage, which from a strategical standpoint, if you're confident enough you're going to make it out of the group after losing, that's smart as hell.
Duncan Caff, this is true? This is accurate?
Yeah, you basically just explained it.
Basically, yeah. I mean, we went into that first match and ran back the same exact drafts, pick for pick, basically, as we were using before to feel out what had changed on Tempo's side. And the thing is, the reason that I think is not a bad strategy in that case is because they have to show that they have improved and adapted in order to beat us in that match if we run back the same drafts. So it's like a lot of people were saying on Reddit or whatever, oh, what if they just held back on you or whatever? Well, then we would have won the set, and we would have just gone to grand finals that way. So that wasn't really a thing. Like, we needed them to prove to us that they knew how to beat that draft, so we knew we actually needed to change our draft, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That it does. Legit.
Smart as hell.
That's really intelligent. It is. Well, just going through all the stats here, we can see that Tempo advanced to the group stage first. Cloud9 went second, which means Murlocs and Team Immunity fell out of the tournament at that point. COG and Complexity were the other two teams to advance. This means that the other three regions who, we weren't too sure coming into this, we didn't have that final confirmation. Well, they are, in theory, the weaker regions. America proved that they are at least somewhat strong. We've now placed with Cloud and Tempo over Europe. Virtus Pro and Team Liquid were both behind them, and now we see Singapore, Southeast Asia, the Immunity, that's ANZ, and then Furious Gaming, Latin America. Of course, Latin America didn't have their strongest showing since Brave Ozone did have visa issues and drop out, so Furious Gaming replaced them. They were definitely a mismatch in this tournament. Any upsets? Any surprises here?
I mean, I think Relic showed they were just a little bit better than the other two regions.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Immunity and Furious Gaming, everyone went in with expectations that they wouldn't perform well at all, and I think that was kind of met. I think there was like a 5-level lead in some of the games, against those teams, they was just what we kind of expected. But Relics, I think, had closer sets.
I don't know if you can put Immunity on the same tier as Furious. Immunity at least took a game off Murlocs.
Yeah,
the Furious games were blow-ups.
Yeah,
they were blow-ups.
I mean, I guess yes, they did take a game off Murlocs, but I don't know. That draft
Furious was the replacement team coming into the event, right? It was supposed to be Brave
Yeah,
Ozone,
yeah.
so we didn't get a real tell of that region
I agree.
Exactly.
because C9 had been scrimming Brave Ozone, and they were actually good,
Yeah.
actually good. So I think if they had shown up to LAN and performed, they would have shown that maybe their region is actually viable.
Yeah.
At least that team is from their region, I think.
That's cool
I
to hear.
agree. It is not fair to judge the Latin America region.
Yeah.
And that's not even the original Furious Gaming roster. If you go back and look at the games that they got third place in that event with, it's almost an entirely different roster. So
Well, yeah, I wasn't saying that they were just really, really. I was just
No,
saying
I know.
They
I just wanted to
performed
clear
as
it up.
expected.
that's not a story that was told on the casting desk at any point. But that's
that's weird.
just-
Yeah, the posters they were giving out for fans to sign had Brave Ozone on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a very last-minute thing, and they did. I think the hosts briefly explained, they couldn't get here. We're sad to see that Brave Ozone couldn't make it, but that's pretty much all the audience was told at that point. But it was a very different team. So I think the bottom line is just don't make complete judgments based on that play that we saw. Those guys probably hadn't gotten much time to practice together. There's a whole lot of factors that go into it.
So, fast forwarding through the tournament, we know that top 4 was 4 NA teams: Tempo, Cloud9, COG, and Complexity. And when we got to the grand finals, Cloud9 opens with explosive play, right? 2-0. Tournament point. You guys are there, and then Reynad crawls on stage, gives the team a pep talk, and suddenly,
That didn't actually happen.
Crawl.
Reynad was on stage. He
No,
didn't,
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing him go
Yeah,
up
he
to the
didn't
team.
crawl.
he didn't crawl. Well, it's just
It's
verbiage,
figure of
okay?
speech, so yeah.
If you will. He crawled. If you will.
Figuratively, he crawled.
And he gives the team a pep talk, and we're going to Game 5. What's the mentality of the team right now for Cloud9 going into Game 5 where you guys were one game away, and now you're one game away from losing?
We were pretty relaxed, to be honest. Like we were, like I kind of explained it on my stream the other day, but when we went through that period of time when we lost a bunch of games, the tempo, we kind of got immune to going on tilt from just losses, in the middle of a set. So even though we were down, we knew that it was going to be on a map that we were going to be comfortable with, and yeah, no one was really tilting out like we had in the past, so it was really nice. Like everyone was relaxed, even though we were on stage, and I think that's probably because we had played a bunch of games that day already. So we got to warm up to everything, playing on stage, like playing with each other and with the voice comms and stuff like that. So that really helped us like stick in it till the end. Dunkus?
I don't know. I wasn't that stressed going into the last game. I think going into game 3 and 4 were worse probably because I think like we kind of lost focus mentally. Everyone kind of got a little too big for their britches, I would say, on our side of the squad and like going into game 3 and stuff. So we needed to get smacked back down. But like when our tournament life is actually on the line, I feel like our team plays so well, which is a really, really good thing to have going for you at LANs. Is like anytime I feel like we're one game away from losing, I feel like that's when we play the best.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I just every time we play, it's some of the most best sets. Like, you don't see it, and like it's always happens in at least best of fives. Like it doesn't happen in best of three. It has to be a best of five. But like, anytime our teams play, the meta shifts. Like just for that set, like it never sticks. But like if you look at the beginning of the draft, it can make sense, and at the end of the end of the series, it's like, oh, okay, we're here then. Cool. So that every time C9 and Tempo play in a best of five, it's always really, really fun for me, just because it just gets so freaking weird.
Yeah, it really does.
We haven't talked too much about like actual what it was like being on stage. You guys have had a little bit of LAN experience at MGA and even much less than that from the WCA qualifier, but like that's way bigger of a scale. What was that like for you guys getting up there and just like your first game, just getting called out onto stage, etc.? Just walk me through that a little bit.
I just saw what Jake's doing with the overlay. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
You
just
want to
seeing
go,
you
Cap?
there.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'd say probably the first day, or first game, there was a bit of jitters. I think for like everyone on our team, even though who were we playing? Oh yeah, it was Immunity, right?
Yeah.
So first set was against Immunity. So we started off like a little, like I would say a little shaky.
You could tell too.
You can't hear anything, of the casters. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, when we started to get a couple kills in the early game, like everyone just started going off. Like that was it. And then we hit like the 4 level, and then the next game we had like a game without deaths or something like that. I don't know. But like that was after that point, I think we were like super warmed up and we were ready just to go for the rest of the tournament. And then every time we came back up to the stage, it was like, okay, we've been here. It's the same thing. Let's go sit down, play the game. And when you're in the game, all you're doing is focusing on the game. That's it.
The adrenaline you get from the crowd, does that make you perform better? Does it make you reckless? Like, what would you say that does for you as a player?
I mean, it makes you want to make plays, right? Because you want to make the plays already because you want to win the game. But at the same time, every time you make those plays, you're gonna hear like a dull roar. You can't really like hear like much, but it's just like kind of like the ocean, just like and you're like, oh, they saw that. Like we're gonna win this. It just gives you like a boost of confidence every time.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like I don't really think you can describe the feeling of like stepping on stage in front of all those people and like seeing signs for your team and stuff. Like it just goes, I don't know how to explain it in words. It's like unbelievable. It's so surreal. And like when you go up there and you hear the fucking audience go off and like I don't know, man. It's like that's why it's worth doing this, you know? Like playing online and shit. I mean, yeah, it's fun or whatever. We're playing a video game for our job, but the lands like make it worth. That's what's worth is the lands. Like it's insane. I don't know.
That's really awesome to hear. That's cool. You guys deserve it, though. You know, you guys have been at this for so long. So just to see that you guys are, so pleased with how things turned out on stage and everything, that's warms my heart a little bit.
Aw,
Where's my heart?
thanks
a
for
little
helping.
bit.
So cute.
So, sickest play of the whole tournament. I've tried finding it in the Twitch VOD, and I couldn't. You guys might actually have the gif of it. Was that Entomb, that calf drops to zone out the Butcher's charge with Furnace Blast. Was that intended?
What do you mean, was it intended?
Yeah, okay. I'm just-
You think I just randomly pressed my R button?
Well,
Like,
Yeah, if that wasn't
You think I
intended,
just put that out
would
there?
make
okay,
no
you're right.
sense,
You're right.
but-
You're right. Dude,
body blocking
that,
the
that
other part
I've
of the
never
choke.
actually seen Entomb used that well in my life.
It's been a fluke.
So that was one of my kind of pocket things coming into the tournament. A lot of people say that Butcher's good against Leoric, but on specific maps, Leoric has a bunch of counterplay
You're fine.
to Butcher in general, like just small things and how the trades work and how you focus in team fights. I think he's actually really strong against him. But yeah, the Entomb is a part of that, and especially on that map. Cursed Hollow is a map with chokes everywhere. So that's really a map the most where you will see Entomb being used more as a wall instead of as like a trap.
Matt gave the GIF in the Twitch
Matt,
chat.
See
Yeah, Steve, excuse
himself.
me.
So the funny thing is, like, that Entomb was pretty decent, but I feel like there was a better Entomb that
Yeah, the first
they
one.
didn't even. Well, that was the first one. The second one was when he was charging into KT again in your base when we were trying to siege, and
yeah.
he had Furnace Blast and Divine Shield at the same time. So I was able to catch him and then body block him in there, and both trade up one ultimate for two. And that one I thought was like way harder. I think this one's funny, because all it is just making a wall. But I guess it was really hype because you don't really see that often. I guess
Right.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh man, that was very fun. Cool.
We haven't talked about the UI yet.
Yeah, the new overlay.
That was seen on stream. I think a lot of people
When
were pretty happy with it.
asking, just like I know everyone's asking about it, when I did ask like Blizzard, they did say that this eventually will be released to the public. Don't know when.
Okay.
But this eventually will be.
Can we say who they worked on with this? Is that public knowledge?
Sure. I don't care. Yeah, they worked on it with Ollie. Like,
Okay.
Ollie's the one that. I mean, I don't actually know if I can say it, but I'm going to. Ollie, like, the guy that made the original one, that put all that badass work into it. Blizzard reached out to him, like, this was awesome. We want you to make one that looks better, and they worked together with him, and it looks great.
That's really cool.
If you guys are
Okay,
curious of the features, I'm going to show off something here. And if Blizzard hates me forever, wait, is this not the UI?
Yeah. I mean, it's
I don't
so don't like the whole UI is like absolutely fantastic. Literally the only thing in my opinion that is missing is just the gem counters and coin counter.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
for the whole team. Other than that, like I mean, maybe you can do something with like the icons so it's like a little bit better visibility on some lower quality stream or something, but other than that it's like
There's still like
This
a
is
wish.
I mean,
awesome.
yeah,
list,
it's
I
still
think.
early in design. Like they've working hard on it, but it's just
But-
it's just Ollie and then Blizzard providing graphics for
Yeah.
him. It's literally still one guy working on
Right,
it.
right. I mean, just to think about the progression of things from June, July opens to having no talents. August we got his base UI, and then to go to this, what an improvement,
Yeah.
like to go. And
Yeah.
so like that's also you guys too. Just everyone watching, like you guys have made that very clear. You want the talents.
The community
You got
deserves a lot of props for pushing
Exactly.
that
Hey,
forward.
could you
because-
change scenes? What are you
Oh
doing?
god, I thought it did.
Tease.
Overlay.
Over, lady.
Oh god, no!
Oh gosh.
10 minutes in.
I hate all of you. Yeah, no.
Yeah, overlay's
it's-
sick.
I wanna pull it up. I just need a moment. Talking about the event a little bit more. Jared, why don't you talk us through the 3-2-3 controversy?
Oh no! Before you do that, go into what was different with the obsing. Like you guys
Okay,
had a whole setup
so
and everything.
Oh
we had
yeah.
3 observers this time. It's been me and me. I was the only observer for June, but in July and August it was both myself and Miwa. And for this one we had Andrew Dunn, who's a StarCraft 2 community manager. He was the observer for Dorm.
Kibbles.
Kibbles. Actually, he was the shot caller for Dorm. So we tried out something new. I fit into the role really well. It's called shot. Like what we were calling it was the shot caller all week, where I didn't touch the camera once. I never once was on the camera, but literally I would have the casters in my ear, and I would literally just tell them where to go, removing all thought, removing like any distractions from the actual cameraman. Because we're also doing a new style where it was with 2 mice. You have 2 mice plugged in, and you have it set to a really low DPI. So when you're moving just one mouse, it allows you to pan really slowly, but it looks smooth because
But
the
they're
DPI
using
is so
two
low.
hands. They're going.
Yeah, it was 2 hands. It was really hard to pull off. So big props because we didn't practice it beforehand too. We literally had like a day and a half to practice. So mad props to Miwa for learning it so quick. But like you move one mouse, it pans really slowly, really low DPI. But when you move two of them, it doubles the DPI. So you're able to actually pan quickly and stuff. So that was really cool. But it would literally like remove all thought from Miwa and Andrew's head with me being the shot caller, and I would just be like pan here, pan here, pan here, like kill bottom. Like so, it was a really cool new way of doing it. But yeah, I was never actually touching the camera. Not a single game was I on camera. I was only shot calling, and I only shot called like half the games, because of things I don't really want to talk about. But it was really cool. There were a few issues. Game one, when I wasn't there, they put the teams on the wrong side. And then Miwa accidentally during the cognitive game knocked a keyboard off a table, and that's when the whole 3-2-3 pause nonsense had. And after like 40 seconds of sitting in the audience, because I was in the crowd for that game, I was like, oh, they're not going to be able to fix this on their own, are they? And I ran all the way backstage, and like the mouse ended up getting stuck, so you couldn't pan anymore. And this was actually out of their control, but we had 2 feeds, and there's a production switch that allows you to swap to the backup PC, but that switch broke. Like it worked for day one, it worked for the practice day, but for day two we didn't test it, and that wouldn't work. So they weren't able to swap to the backup PC. So I ended up turning off the. We reconnected the client, and that's why there was an extra long part because we had to reconnect to the main client to get it working. But that was the 3-2-3 was Miwa knocking the keyboard off the desk.
So actually, that leads into this next point: is that there was clearly some effect on that point of the game.
Oh,
and
for
it
COG.
was COG versus Cloud9 game
Yep.
one, and
Yeah.
COG had a level lead, level and a half, maybe 2 levels.
Level and a half,
I
just
don't
about,
quite
yeah.
remember.
Level and a half.
And it was very much towards the end of the game. There was that pause shenanigans happened. There was quite a few delays, like 5 to like 10 minutes maybe of delays, pauses on pauses that happened, and they were in a great position. They ended up throwing into the enemy team. They lost, and then Cloud9 just walked over them. And game 2 did not look good from Cognitive's perspective, and it was pretty clear that they were shook about it, which is really unfortunate.
Well, you should go read Ivy Slime's thread.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to get into. He actually did post a thread on Reddit. I think Matt just linked it. Yes, he did. See you, Steve. It's him explaining his thoughts and
He said
everything.
it sucked, but like he did not blame the loss on that.
Right, and I think that's the bottom line there. And it was really cool that he did post that thread up.
Yeah.
It just like our observer area is really small, but we have to have the keyboard on the desk. It was an accident from Miwa. Like, it just like for next time, get us a bigger desk, Blizzard, because that won't. Our desk was really small. Our area was really small, and we had to like just, put it in that weird spot. But, it's I really like that post from Slime. I really encourage everyone to go read it. A good sportsmanship there. Like you can't say it didn't affect them, right? They had so much momentum in that match.
Certainly did.
It definitely did affect them.
I mean,
but,
it's such a tempo-based game. And once you lose
Yeah.
your flow, once you lose your rhythm, it's the same thing with like playing any esport, really, in any sport. You're mid-run with the soccer ball, and the ref blows a whistle. You might have got that goal. Who knows? You had that break, but now you lost that opportunity. Whatever it is, I'm just trying to
That's not that bad of an example.
Yeah, yeah. I did it,
That
guys.
was pretty decent.
So, but that's rough, and that's something that can happen in these kind of environments, these kind of events. You never know what's going to happen. The power could go out. It's the same kind of idea. Sometimes just accidents, flaws, whatever, can change the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has had technical difficulties affect their gameplay before. Every single player, like DCs, pauses, hardware failures, like it happens. And like it sucks when it happens when you're winning and you lose momentum off of it, but that's part of the mental game too.
Yep.
And hopefully they get better at, like, if they feel like it was a problem, hopefully they get better at dealing with it. But yeah, it was really unfortunate because it looked kind of bad.
Oh yeah,
You
definitely.
know,
That was
so
terrible.
that sucked.
I mean, within 2 minutes of the unpause, you guys won the game. It was like Cloud9's
Yeah.
getting bodied, and then they won a team fight. They picked up a boss. They cleaned up bottom lane where they got a little too over aggressive, and GG.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they over committed to that bottom lane. That was
Yeah, that's what ended the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they just sent Leoric or something instead of Leoric, Brightwing, Nazeebo, Jaina, I forget.
I think it was Jaina.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think nitpicking is necessary, but like,
Yeah.
There, a lot of misplays happened immediately after the pause, and I don't know if that's because of the pause or maybe they felt like they were under a lot of pressure suddenly or something. Who knows, man? You just can't tell what's going on in their heads or their comms.
Okay.
Just an unfortunate situation now.
We talked about the UI a bit. I just wanted to take a moment to just kind of show it off again to anyone that is new to it. Now, this is the new overlay that basically Ali and Blizzard built, and I think one thing I'd like to do is just kind of ask the community to maybe someone create a thread about the UI and nitpick it, because I think this is a good time to do that. If Blizzard is now working on the first ever, they're investing in the first ever competitive UI that the game's ever going to have. I know I'm writing a list of feedback for them for it, but I think the community should do it too, because when everyone bands together, people come up with great ideas. But you can see, like, people have talked about the idea of kills, how kills go up. Well, maybe killing forts should go up, right? There's a lot of different opinions people have posted on things like that. The fact that we have talents here, is this legible on mobile? Probably not. What's a better way to do it? But I have to say, having heroic timers right with the portrait is so nice.
Yeah. There's like a
yeah.
few things I would nitpick about, like this is more like this from a graphical, like a graphics like thing, but there's a lot of situations where like there's multiple like Janus tier 1. Like there's two talents there that share the same icon. Like,
Yeah, they gotta fix
unless
that.
like you like there should be a way to like just like either different icons or an indicator as to which one it was. Little things like that. That's like super nitpicky though.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's not
but,
that
I mean, you gotta work to refine these things. Matt pointed this one out. I remember while we were in the back room. Like Jaina's the first level talent. Like you're more or less looking at just a white square because it's like zoomed in on the center of the talent, and so like graphically that's not really ideal.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend on the talents. But I mean, for a first like stab at it, just like redesigning it completely from the ground up, this is really, really good.
Oh, it's phenomenal. But I think
Definitely.
it's good to critique them from
Yeah,
a viewer,
absolutely.
player,
No, I
caster
agree with you.
perspective, because we want this to be perfect for BlizzCon, right?
Definitely,
There's enough time
definitely.
to do that, I think.
Yep.
And like for me, like one of the things that I think could be a lot better is just this. They have this space that seems so good for a score. You see the top here, like, to put a team name here and a team name here and a score, but it's just a little bit too small. So if they increase the width a bit more, and maybe this hero's
I think it
logo,
has to do with resolution scaling.
possible, but still, like, this logo seems like a little bit too big. Like there's so much priority on this. Like where all this is like relevant information. This is dead space.
Yeah.
And even this is criticism for the production crew. Like, why didn't they put the America's Championship logo right on top of this Heroes logo, right? Slap it right there, because this space seems like if you put the event logo there, that space has meaning, but it didn't have a meaning. And this space just needs to be a little bit larger. Like if this is like 2 and 0, and it can look really nice if you just increase the width a bit. Just to show you guys some things that weren't shown off there. This is the new pull-up screen that they built for it, and this was not used at all this weekend, but it's in every way infinitely better. Like, I think this is the sexiest thing ever. I personally wish they would pull this up during the broadcast at certain points.
It didn't work. it looked bad. Like with the overlays we had and like the resolution we were running, like it was literally like just a gap like so small there in the middle that literally only time we could have done it is like if we weren't even wanting to show anything. Like it was just so like look like every time we like did it when practicing with the new overlay, it was like this is not gonna look good on stream. So we're
Well,
just like
that needs to
told
be
not to use
fixed
it.
by BlizzCon, right? Because this is sexy. I mean, I see chat freaking out about how good this looks right now. Same idea for numbers, right? It's just a refined looking
Well, the
version.
number ones we could have used,
Still,
but
like, but you know,
that you
once in
need
a
a
while,
caster key for that usually.
like this Illidan is doing so much damage, and then the observer pulls up the Illidan's damage, and you can see, and then you build that storyline because one of the issues with Heroes of the Storm is building stories on individuals, and
Okay.
any extra tools we can use to do that is going to help us tell the story. Like, yeah, if Glaurung's like really just kicking ass one game, and we can sell him even more, like, you know, uncharacteristically, we see Nazebo beating whoever. Actually, Nazebo puts up stupid numbers, but you know what I mean, right? You get the idea.
Yeah. No, I sent a big write up to CSD about what to do going into BlizzCon and stuff. Because, like, well, you know, with the shot calling stuff as well as a dual mouse, like, we went into this event with no practice. Like, we those are two new things thrown at us, like, the day before we went in. And, so, you know, bring, like, the observers in a week before. Like, if we're going to do massive changes like this, like, because you can't practice that stuff online. Like, no way.
Yeah.
So like just like giving us more time to like play if that stuff would be a massive help. But it looks great. You know, there's just a few tweaks here and there, and it'd be perfect.
But you know, just before we step away from this, massive props to Blizzard for working with Ollie, and massive props to Ollie for all the work he's done for the competitive scene. Because without his original UI and this, I don't know where we would be. Because Cass would suck. It'd be a lot harder to tell the stories and get the engagement. And there's Jared flipping upside down.
So yes, big props to Ollie for that. Trying to think of what other aspects of there's so many big parts of the production and just the whole event itself. Like the stage we haven't talked too much about, but like they had all the aspects from BlizzCon, and if you guys saw that, you know, when map objectives are being hit, there's these giant screens behind all the players, and like, you know, lightning shots going from Sky Temple. It goes like across all the way to the
Stage
side.
is
Like
sexy.
the
Oh,
stage
man.
is just
That was so cool.
incredible. And I thought,
Yeah,
you know,
like-
like thumbs up, like they nailed it with that. Like looked so good.
Stage is sick, man. Like, hype for BlizzCon. Like that's like so hyped about it. I don't know how much we could talk about it. Like, and it's really cool just how open and like Blizzard, the headies. It was Kim Fan. It was I forget Josh's last name, and then Matt. They like pulled all the pros. They pulled us all in the area, and they're like, we want to hear what you guys want for 2016 esports. You know, not just format, you know, show wise, what's best for the players and stuff. And they literally just had an open forum where we passed the mic around, and you know, like it was, you know, when you have a room full of like, you know, nerds, like they're like a lot of them are going to be really quiet and stuff. But luckily, we had people like Dunk Train in there. You know, a lot of the complexity guys. You have Glaurung. You know, we had like the vocal ones, like echoing everyone's sentiments, like just getting like, and we gave them a lot of good feedback. And they were taking notes the whole time. They were being very, you know, they were responsive. They were giving us feedback on why, like, you know, counter arguments and stuff. It was really cool to just like sit down with Blizzard Esports and like talk, just like give them what we want as players, and they seem to be very interested in that.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a big thing, and this goes back to just how much they've like stepped it up going forward, and they really do value all the players, the viewers. You know, these Reddit threads that people make all the time, it's like these things actually do have more of an impact than you guys think. Like if you feel strongly about something, go ahead, make a thread. Like Blizzard's reading everything.
Yep.
From the player's perspective, how did the draft feel? You had basically admins on the stage with tablets executing the draft. Did it feel seamless? What just ran behind you? Are you okay, Caffeine? I think I just saw a ninja.
Yeah, that was my ninja, my woman.
The draft was kind of weird. So For those who don't know, before the first match of your set, or the first game of your match, first game of your set, whatever you want to call it, like when the match before that was in game two, you had to draft, and you did that like way before you went on stage. So the first draft got done backstage on a tablet there, and then like there was all the things necessary for swapping teams out and stuff, where they like swapped the hard drives, you brought your gear up, you plugged it in, whatever went back down. Then they introed you, and then after all of that happened, then they started playing the draft on like the casters talked about and played on screen and stuff. So there was like a huge gap between when we drafted and when it was shown, basically for the first game, and then for the later games there was less of a gap. But it did seem kind of weird because when one thing we would notice is the crowd had like specific heroes that they liked to cheer on or whatever or be loud about when it got picked, and like we didn't really that didn't really transfer to us because like our draft is over and we don't really know what's going on in the casters because we can't hear them. It's like our draft is over and we're just sitting there waiting to play like do, and then like the crowd's like getting all excited about something like, I wonder what hero just got picked, like I wonder what's going on type deal. So like it was kind of weird actually to do the draft like before the like not at the same time as like the crowd reaction type stuff. That was my only complaint.
So,
But yeah,
from a production standpoint, everything just goes a lot more smoothly if we know that we can just go right from the draft, like pop out of draft, talk for a
Yeah.
couple sentences, and then get
Yeah.
right into the game. Like the game's already loaded, it's already paused and ready to go.
yeah.
I would love to be able to just do raw drafts because I mean, like all of us casters, like that's how we've practiced. You know what I mean? Everything that we do from these home casts and studio stuff here is just it's all we just look at the storm draft and we go with it as it goes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's always stuff where it's we get out of the draft and then someone's got to go to the bathroom.
Oh
Or,
yeah,
like,
locked in wrong heroes.
wrong
like,
hero, yeah.
all
Or
sorts of stuff, man.
the game just takes forever to load for some reason.
Yeah.
Just sitting and looking at for all those reasons, that's why they do it that way. But I agree with you. It would be awesome for you guys to be able to like feel connected to the audience when that hero gets picked, and maybe we'll have some kind of compromise in the future.
Also, using a third-party site still for drafting is awkward. Like there was one time we were drafting and like the countdown timer on ours just like froze, and like we showed the admins and it like wasn't counting down, and we're like whatever, and like then they just ended up like telling the other team what we picked anyway, and it wasn't the same thing as shown on screen because our thing just froze. Like that kind of like technical difficulty is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Like downside of using a not in-game client, you know.
They're aware of that.
It'll get
they'll
there.
fix it over time. But
Yeah.
It's
it wasn't
it's
that
just
bad.
curious if like you guys like the admins walking around on stage, being there with you directly. Like, some games approach it differently because even when the game has a real draft, maybe they do have an API where the admins have some control with a tablet or something. Who knows?
Are we allowed to talk about Rexxar?
We're gonna get there. Before we leave draft. Oh, just in terms of. I know what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Just while we're on the topic
I'll
of
find
drafting, really quickly, I just think, again, harping on production, the fact that they showed a random hero behind each player was hyper confusing for any casual viewer. If they show Dunk Train and then they show Vala on the screen behind him and not Uther, that's a huge flaw. Like, if you're going to put these 5 screens behind the players and you're not going to, like, honor the hero that person's playing, don't put those screens there.
Wait, wasn't that only during the draft phase though? And then once the draft was complete, they went to the right person.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but we never see those screens
Yeah.
again. The live
Well,
viewer
the audience
might,
does.
but the fact
The
that
audience does.
the fact that the camera is revealing that pick behind that player, like they're revealing the way that they showed it in the production dunk is they would
Yeah.
show a big jib shot on your desk and Vala
Yeah.
would appear behind you, and it's like, well, they're not
Yeah.
actually. That's not actually going to be Dunk Train playing Vala.
Well,
that is.
I
You
see
can't.
what
I
you're
mean, you don't have a
saying.
choice though. Like
don't have a
either
choice, yeah.
Wait until the draft is like this is like what I've been arguing with them since June, and they
Yeah.
still.
No,
haven't
they
made up.
did it for Dorm. I worked on the draft at Dorm, and we executed the right hero behind the right person. It was very difficult.
Did you
to
wait
do.
until the draft was over?
Oh, the drafts were pre-done. You're right.
Oh yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
So the only way that's
Okay.
going to happen is if you have someone in production who knows the teams well enough to have
No.
a very good idea of
There's
what
no one
heroes
else
they
gonna
play.
know that.
I don't
though.
know.
There's no one else
There's,
gonna know
I mean,
that.
you're gonna have some
No,
mess ups
okay,
occasionally
I
where there'll
know
be
my
a swap
team.
or two, but
You've been watching my team a lot. I know my team.
yeah.
Guess what? How many times we've run that triple warrior comp we did game 1 versus C9? There's no way you would have been able to predict that. Like the moment you
You're
saw
right.
the first
I
pick.
told you in the crowd who was playing who, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. Don't give me that.
Yeah, at the end
No,
of the
but
draft,
these
you
things-
did.
but when the draft starts,
while
like,
it's
first warrior
drafting.
gets picked, do they put it behind Calf, and then when the second warrior gets picked, then
Still-
it swaps?
Still
Like,
having like a decent idea is better than nothing.
Yeah. It's never going to be perfect.
Well,
I agree, but
I think what they were doing is they were doing it in the order of the picked, so you could
Yes.
actually
Yeah,
see the
yeah, I
draft
like
order,
that.
which was kind of like you could argue that it's kind of important that you can see the order that it's picked, and then as soon as the draft was done, it did like a flip where they all
Yeah.
flipped to the behind the right people.
I think
So as
the
long
way
as
they
people
did
were
it was
aware of
fine.
that, yeah, as long
Yeah.
as they were telling people that, then I think it makes sense.
Maybe
I think
maybe
it
if there's a way for them to voice that, and maybe if they showed
Yeah.
the draft flipping, because we never once, like I'm not looking at the stage. I'm looking at
No, yeah,
at a
yeah.
game, and I never
Yeah.
see the stage, right?
I mean,
So
if we had gotten that feedback that was something that people would have preferred to know, then we could have mentioned it every once in a while. You know, that's
mean, I
that's
think
another thing on us too.
I
The
just
thing
think it's
that we learned from this weekend was communication is key, like
Yeah.
across multiple platforms.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think it's also crucial though, because the players need to be built into celebrities in a lot of ways, right? You guys are professionals. You guys are the rock stars playing a digital game, and it's not that often that your face is on the screen, and people want to learn to associate that virtual character with that physical player who's playing it. And if they're getting confused, if they don't know who to associate it with, it's harder to build the storylines of Dunk Train being that support player, because they might know Dunk Train, but then they look at the five on the desk and they don't necessarily remember who's
Yeah.
Dunk Train.
It sounds like what you're saying they should have changed about it is just not shown camera shots of us with characters behind us
Pretty much.
until the full draft was done, and then they maybe could do all 10 players or something in a row.
I just don't like the
That
fact that they were revealing that pick behind you, because it's saying Dunk Train is Vala.
Nah, I mean, I liked it from our perspective. I liked that it showed the draft in real time, like what pick they were,
Yeah.
what order they were. And when I was watching from the audience, I thought it looked really good, honestly. So from the
Agreed.
audience's perspective, I think it looked really good. And I think it just looked bad to you because you didn't get to see what happened on the screens,
Yeah.
You only got the camera shot.
Yeah, I think it was fine the way they did it.
Hmm.
Good luck, Zoya.
Let's,
Rexxar, you want to talk about Rexxar?
We're not
yeah,
talking
let's-
about that thing. No, we're not
Okay.
talking about that.
GG.
But I want to.
But Rexxar was played a lot. We can still talk. Well, not a lot, but
I don't
we
want to
can-
talk about him being played. The games weren't fun. Like, who cares about Rexxar?
Oh, are we not allowed to talk about the thing that happened?
Yeah, no
With
talk.
Rexxar?
I think it's a good
Oh.
thing. I think that's like like.
It's not a good thing.
I'm just saying I've been told not to talk about. We're
Alright,
not talking
yeah,
about. it.
alright.
We're not
That's,
talking
no,
about
that's
it.
fine.
Move on.
That's fine,
Mystery,
yeah.
Move on.
mystery. Everyone's gonna be so
Next.
confused. Controversy.
3, 2, 3.
3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Boys.
3, 2, 3. Move on. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean,
He was
know,
the newest hero, so do you feel as though like Calf, you can weigh in on this a bit more? Like still useless. Jacksmith feels completely otherwise. We saw them play the hero multiple times, so you guys don't play it. We didn't see Tempo running it at all. Calf,
until
I
they
don't know if
fix
you
it, the bugs with them, like
Yeah, I
too
mean,
inconsistent.
exactly. You can play with them, and you can just try to use those bugs the best you can, but it's really frustrating, and it can actually make for big issues in team play at the high level. That being said, if all those things were fixed, he has a role, and he's definitely playable. The only reason you didn't see us play him in this tournament is because we didn't have enough time to practice him. But if we're given a bit more time, like for BlizzCon, I wouldn't be surprised if you see that in our draft.
Yeah, I feel like 1 week going in before the event is not enough to like 100%. For a hero that's that unique,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, with like that many niche control flaws or whatever you want to call them, like that was a problem. If like Jaina came out and then a week and a half later you could play in her tournament, yeah, fine, she's a mage, whatever, Kael'thas, that type of thing, that's fine, you understand. But like Rexxar is too out there, I think, for any teams to properly utilize him within a week.
Fair enough.
All right. Moving things forward with the discussion, the America's Championships has concluded with Cloud9 and Tempo Storm as the two teams that advanced to BlizzCon. Now, I don't think anyone's surprised that they were the expected by most. What changes now, Dunk? Now,
Well, I don't know. I want to touch on that real quick.
Okay.
Most people expected Cloud9 and Tempo to make it to BlizzCon. Most people who have a clue. But someone on this panel of 5
Oh, let's go to Team
amazing
Liquid real quick.
people- Let's load up that Team Liquid article because predictions were made by
Oh.
certain people here.
Wait, what should his
And-
punishment be?
I don't know. He deserves to get punished somehow, though.
What are we
did you
talking
pick?
about?
I think that's
Ruby's
the crucial-
predictions
all
was
the
like
casters had to-
Cloud9 and like
Complexity.
Cognitive?
complexity
Complexity.
even worse. Like
They had every
getting called
caster do predictions.
Are you Heyoka? Is that you're talking about what Heyoka did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, going around. He asked the players too,
I don't know if that ever got put up.
or the team
That's kind of a
captains or
shame.
something.
I don't know if the players one did, but the casters one did.
Yeah.
Kubi, we've had
Oh
two.
yeah, I saw that.
This is your second run through on making bracket predictions.
I
Kubi?
had to do
And
it.
you've been
I am
bodied
notoriously
twice now?
terrible at it.
Bodied twice now.
You're the new
GG.
Artosis.
I am the new Artosis.
Damn. Good thing
Yeah.
they had that team spotlight for Cloud9. They just knew they were going to win, right?
You know what? I'll completely just sidetrack this conversation and say that all the three teams in NA definitely stepped their game up a lot,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I was
yes,
really
absolutely.
happy with their play. And
Yeah.
the bets and jokes aside and everything, they do show a lot of potential. I really hope that those three teams don't go anywhere, even though we're at that kind of point where it's like, well, we don't go to BlizzCon. What do we do now? I think they should stick together because they do have a lot of potential.
If anyone's listening, Murlocs is not going anywhere, and they had a great showing this weekend.
Dude,
Someone
all the teams,
I talked to
so
all
proud
of
of
them.
everyone.
Yeah.
So proud
I talked
of
to all
everyone.
of them about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all seem fine. They're ready for more.
Nope. They're not discouraged. These guys, all of the 5 North American teams in the event, they've been around longer than most teams, and they've shown they're here for this game, not for just like money or anything. They're here for heroes. And
Oh, yeah, here we go. We going in. Gilly, Cloud9 complexity.
rip. Oh look, tasteless Tempo Storm C9. Someone with a
C9.
clue. Artosis.
Tempo
Tempo
C9.
Storm C9. What? Babel, Cloud9, and Relics. Hello, Babel. What happened, man?
He's got to root for his region, man. He's got to root
Yeah,
for his
come
region.
on.
Hey,
Well,
man.
Jake seems to be.
I put them in.
What's his-
If they regained their composure, man. Oh, I
Mhm.
knew. I knew that. I knew Tempo was feeling a little down.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
bottom here,
Damn.
Cloud9 and
Boom.
Kubi's leaving. Later, Kubi.
Damn. Body.
Look at that.
You know what's funny? Every qualifier, Kubi and I have done a bet, and he didn't want to do it this time about whether C9 or Tempo would win, and he should have done it this time, because
He shoulda.
he would have
Yeah.
made money this time, boys.
Yeah.
He lost faith after 3 months of qualifiers.
So, you guys have qualified, and obviously now the state of the team is BlizzCon prep. Nothing else matters. This is the biggest event of your life. It's $500,000 for the tournament itself. First place walks home with $200,000. But this is where the stage changes a lot. You guys have been used to training for your own team, or for your own region. And now the only team that you're accustomed to is your rivals, Tempo. And you're training for, arguably Bob, Team Liquid, Na'Vi, MVP, Snake, actually is Snake out?
Gaming.
What? Snake?
No, I have to look up. We're going to talk about Korea in a bit. MVP is looking really good in Korea, though.
Yeah, they look really good. But there's Snake,
really good.
Snake and
But
DK are still in it.
Snake and DK are still in it. Okay, that's what I want to confirm. So Snake, DK, MVP. 3 teams in Korea, arguably 3-4 teams in Europe. Actually, Europe, who knows? It's so...
Yeah, I'm really
We're
excited.
talking,
I
we're
know
talking
we'll get to
Korea
that.
and Europe,
Europe is
next.
really close.
We're talking that in just a moment. But how does this change your focus? How do you guys now prepare for this? Because are you going to go play in Europe? Are you just going to study VODs? Are you just going to stick to your guns? What's the plan?
We're going to Korea for the next month. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd be so hyped. It's like Jack bought us a house. He got us all visas to train in Korea for a month. I would be like, yo.
That would be so hype, dude.
Yeah.
Call him up.
Um,
Hey, Jack, remember that dinner you're going to buy us? Can you just send us to Korea instead?
Clearly
yeah, that
comparable.
escalated a little bit. Yeah. Well, I know we're gonna probably scrim tempo infinite just to try to make both of us
Absolutely.
as much improved as we possibly can be before BlizzCon. But it's hard to get practice against teams that aren't from your region.
Yeah.
I mean, so unless some of them
Practice.
come to America, more than a week or whatever in advance of the tournament, I don't see how we're gonna get time to actually, scrim against actual other teams from other regions. So it's got to be VOD studying and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just too
Now-
hard to actually play against them
About-
as it is currently.
One of the big factors that I think prevents a lot of this is just your account, right? The lack of heroes on another server. How beneficial would it be if Blizzard was to give all the teams that qualify for BlizzCon an account that had everything unlocked in every region?
Speaking as a team that has a
Very
lot of things
valuable.
unlocked, we still can't play on other regions.
Yeah,
Okay.
the lag is still.
Lag is too bad.
Okay.
I'd still enjoy it. I'd still definitely play a lot more on the other regions if I had that. Just because, Yeah, you're not going to get really high tier games, but you're still going to get like a little experience of what's going on. Even like in the solo queues and stuff like that, like you might see something new, and like it's just another wealth of information that you can tap on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like we have every time we have gone to Scrim EU, we always like learn little hints of their meta and stuff, which can be cool. But overall, the ping is just
Okay.
really bad.
What's more important to practice in you guys' opinions? Better mechanical skill, working on communication, or new strategies and drafts?
I mean, what's the
All
most
three?
important? All three are
Yeah, all
extremely
three.
I'm
important.
asking what
Yeah.
to put a focus on if you have to grab one of the three or two of the three. What's
I
more important?
definitely have the least amount of focus on mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, you figure out your mechanics, and then after that, like, you got to reach a certain level of mechanics. And once you reach that level, it's just all about team play and synergy with your team, because you're just going to expect everyone to hit their stuff and be in the right place. So it just comes down to a lot of like communication and making sure that everyone on your team is doing and thinking of the exact same thing that you are.
Dunk, share, same.
Decent response.
D's.
Pretty decent,
Oh.
pretty decent.
Yeah, that sounded good.
All right.
Good job, Calf.
Nailed the calf. We
Don't
all
call you
know
the king
Dunk
for
Train
nothing.
definitely wasn't paying attention. He's just like,
Oh,
yeah, you nailed it, bro.
0%.
You nailed it, bro.
I'm glad Calf
Nailed
caught
it.
that one though.
Okay.
New heroes. How do you guys feel about balance changes
Ah.
to go in before BlizzCon? How long should they wait? Where should the cutoff be for practice? This
What's
one's
the
on Dunk.
The exact date of BlizzCon is
6th and 7th.
6th and
November.
7th.
November.
I would like it if the last balance changes go in no later than the 13th of October,
So like
which
Damn.
is the second Tuesday from now. I would say that's the latest I would like to see any balance changes that aren't like, like really specific things that they need to fix. Like, let's say something happens, there's a bug or whatever that needs fixing. Like,
Yeah.
that's okay, but I don't want to see any like balance patches after
So-
13th.
Do hero releases count as balance changes? Like, if they, how somebody just interject a single
If they're
hero?
allowed, in the tournament, then yes.
Okay.
We just saw the video. We haven't talked about it. We know that Lieutenant Morales, Medic, and Artanis are both on the horizon. Considering that they've both been announced before BlizzCon, you can assume they're going to both be released before BlizzCon. Based on that sentiment, do you think they both need to be released by that date? Maybe release a double hero release at once?
Wait, did you say the name of the medic?
Yeah,
Lieutenant Morales.
Oh, I never caught the name. I
It's
just
in the
did
skin
medic.
video.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Which I
Um,
can just pull up and show while we're here. But yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Do you think it all needs to happen like by that date? If you think it's too much to launch both those heroes at once?
No, I think you can launch 2 heroes at the same time. Like Asmod and the New Bride came out at the same time, right? And that
Yeah.
was fine. I would rather them do balance pass and launch the heroes ASAP rather than like release one, 2 weeks or 3 weeks later or something if they still expect it to be in play. If they're fine not having it in play available, then go ahead, do it, the week before or whatever. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. All the competitive people will just be practicing without it. So it won't matter to them. But if you expect to say like, yeah, that hero is going to be available in BlizzCon, then yeah, we need 3 weeks, like straight up.
Okay.
There's too much on the line not to have that time.
Yeah, there's quite a bit on the line.
A little bit.
200,000 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was just curious to how you felt about that. What else would affect training between now and then? Watching VODs, which, all the qualifiers that's going to be available. I think that might cover it. Anything else from you guys?
What are we talking about? Going
Just
in the BlizzCon?
training, practice training regimens for BlizzCon.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
else?
like if we can, it'd be nice if like Blizzard could fly out the international teams, like a bit quicker than most events do.
I think they will.
Just for like,
considering
well, I mean,
last-
so there's the week before BlizzCon that there's tournaments being played. It's called like the Super. I don't know what they call it, but not all of the tournaments played the 2 days of BlizzCon. Some of it gets played beforehand during the week before.
opening week is
uh,
called.
Opening week, yes. Sorry, that was that.
I'll pull up the
opening
announcement
week.
in a sec. I guess
Opening
we'll-
week. No one gets eliminated from BlizzCon before then. It goes down to like the first elimination match or something.
Yeah.
But I would like, if some of the teams were flown in, just it's nice to be able to see the other regions, like hang out with them. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just practicing. What was really cool was like once everyone was, like accepted their losses and stuff. Complexity Murlocs, and Cognitive all reached out to us, and we're just like, we will meet your hours. We will do whatever we can to make sure you guys are practicing as hard as you can. We want you guys to beat the other regions. We want NA to win BlizzCon. Like they all came to us. They were just like, hey, we want to scrim you guys. We want to make sure you guys are not missing like any. If you want to practice harder, there's no one there to scrim you. Like hit us up. We will do everything we can to make sure you guys are prepared to take on Korea and China.
That's awesome.
And that's how I feel going into this with C9. As long as one of us two makes the grand finals, even if we have to knock one of each other out, I don't care. As long as NA is showing that we are one of the strongest regions, if not the strongest, I don't care who wins. I just want us to be there.
Yeah.
So my XSplit is locked up, and it's actually stuck to this one scene for the rest of the show, so that's exciting.
Got him.
Let's see if me flipping my webcam breaks it even more.
Yeah,
Probably not.
XSplit just
Probably
patched
fine.
like right before the show, and it's been quite fun. Heroes of the Storm World Championship, $500,000, 8 teams. Schedule October 28th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Matches of the Heroes of the Storm World Championship features 2 dual tournament groups in the first round. No teams will be eliminated during opening week, but each team will get to show their stuff in the initial matches of each group. So basically, they're starting off the tournament because a 2-day event. I don't know if BlizzCon is best of 5.
I don't know. But we share a
Probably.
stage with the WoW stage again.
I
So
think
it's
probably
not like
we did
we
last
get our
year.
own like entire 30-year show. Where, like the whole 2 days is ours. We split it with another game.
Yeah, they don't have time for that many matches, honestly.
Oh.
Like they just don't.
So we had 13 series over the course of 2 days for this event. It was fairly
Yeah.
packed up. Opens are 15/16 series, I think.
Mhm.
Those are
Yeah.
always filled up, and that's an entire stage dedicated to all the
Yeah.
events running Heroes. So if we're splitting it at all, yeah, stuff's going to have to be run ahead of time, which is fine.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Yay, another period of time where people don't want to show their strategies.
I think that has more to do with the format rather
I
than
think
the
that's
timing of it.
basically like round 1 of the bracket for your group that's being played. So you're not eliminated yet, but it still counts for a lot.
It goes up to like the first elimination.
It counts out for a
matches
lot.
of-
So
of
it's not like a
period.
meaningless match, right? You're going to want to win. You're going to want to play well.
Yeah. Has it on that announcement? Does it say what the exact format is yet?
No.
I don't
I
think
haven't
so.
read the announcement.
Does
Okay,
not.
I didn't.
Although
Oh, okay.
a little bit more to your point, Calf. Playing those series, especially, I mean, they're going to be streamed to some extent. Showing those like a lot of time ahead of time, right? So it's going to be at least a week,
Yeah.
week and a half ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's you are showing things that can be studied to great
Absolutely.
detail, whereas
Yeah,
things happening
course.
within the 2 days.
Yeah, you don't have as much time to react
right.
to it.
See,
Sure.
Steve just confirmed is identical format to this past weekend.
Okay.
So that's going to
Whoa.
be it's going to be round 1 to group A.
All right, well, talk about it. Why didn't you guys like the format? What do
Oh.
you want to see changed?
Ugh, it should just be double elim, man.
Standard
Not
double
the group
elim.
stage be
Standard
double
double
elim. Like
elim.
Every
if
match
you wanna have
matters.
yeah, if you want to have group stages that feed into like a bracket, like the bracket stage should be double elim. It's so unreasonable that the group stage is double elim and the bracket stage is single elim. It's absurd, honestly. Like so absurd. I don't know.
Especially It's best of 3s again.
I was actually baffled that the championship bracket wasn't double elim. I thought it was, and I was really confused.
That is actually really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
And that means that like depending on how you come out of a group, like I don't know, it doesn't guarantee that the best teams
Like
advance like a double elim
Yeah.
bracket does. That's what I don't like. Like depending on which teams get seeded against which in the round of 4, like the third best team can end up getting second when like that can't really happen in a double
If the
elim.
4 best teams are in the same group, just because of like, who knows how they're going to seed it, but if
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
4
absolutely.
best are there, guess
Yeah.
what? 3rd and 4th best teams, they're bottom 8. Like
Yeah.
they're 6th, 7th, or whatever you want to call it.
That is
That's-
atrocious, dude. That is unacceptable.
And like you
honestly.
could be like, just trust us because we're gonna seed it properly.
Yeah, what?
I don't freaking know. You've never seen the Regions clash.
Yeah,
outside of
nobody
this, right?
knows.
Like it
dude.
needs to be double limb the entire way.
And-
Every
yeah.
match, like Calf said, every match should matter, especially on this stage. This is like it was okay for the America's Championship because like the best team still made it through. We know that, but
You know the seating better. That's the big
you
difference.
know the seeding better.
You
But
know
we
what teams are
don't
good.
know
Yeah.
the seeding going into this. That is
Yeah.
very frustrating.
yeah. And you can also argue
Oh.
that Tempo only lost 1 match, right? They
Yeah,
only lost
exactly.
in the grand finals, and
Yeah.
that sucks.
they didn't have a chance to like adapt and like okay, we're gonna reset and hit this next series. Like it's really rough.
Like at this point, I would be like, if it's a time constraint thing, Blizzard, please. We don't need every game streamed. I don't. At this point, I
you
would
can
rather
only
have
stream
a
elimination
snowball
matches. Honestly,
Yes.
just stream
Yeah.
elimination matches in the finals. That'd be fine. Just
So
please
like have a
don't.
second stage or a second setup
play
that's
backstage
behind
even.
stage.
whatever,
Play it.
rooms, whatever you need to
so
do, dude.
just to Blizzard's defense, this is what they did for StarCraft, I believe 2 years ago, and they played about half the matches back behind stage, and they got so much shit for not streaming every single game. People are like, I traveled out here for this tournament. I didn't get to watch my favorite players play. They weren't even ever on stage. And that becomes a thing. Sometimes teams just won't get a chance to taste
No,
that stage.
that's
No, that's
different.
if you just
That's
stream
way
if you stream every elimination match, then everyone gets airtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
We were
right.
saying the match before.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's different for StarCraft. It's different for StarCraft because there's so many players compared
Yeah,
to X
okay.
number of teams. Like that's a really big difference.
Guys, I wish I could change the scene.
Sorry,
Yeah.
boss.
I gotta
there
make
you
myself bigger so I feel bigger.
You can what?
No,
just,
XSplit's actually just frozen entirely.
can you just well.
Look at this diva. I gotta make myself bigger so like people can see me. Like, are you freaking kidding me, clown?
I said so I can feel bigger. I was supposed to
Oh,
be
feel
egotistical.
bigger.
Yeah, it was egotistical. That was the point, Jared.
Nailed it.
Is
yeah.
there any way to
Yeah,
like?
inflate that head, man.
No, I have to
That's
kill.
like kill the stream, yeah.
No, I'd have to kill
Alright,
XSplit.
alright.
Oh,
So
just
we're
let
just
it
gonna
go.
run with it. It's fine.
Let
The
it
browsers are
go.
updating. As long as everyone can see everything, we're good. Well, let's kind of set the stage for BlizzCon, right? Europe champs are happening in Prague in the O2 Arena in about 8 days.
Bob and Navi.
and-
Huh?
Now, if you guys are curious, what's this beautiful website Jake's on? Well, that's actually heroesoftheswarm.com/esports. They did a great job putting together a website where they write lots of articles, updates, and info about the teams. And you can even see brief intros to the 8 teams here: Navi, Team Rocket, Virtus Pro, Team Liquid, Bob, G2, Fnatic, and PNP. All 8 of these teams will be duking it out at the... It's basically like a European BlizzCon where they have WoW finals, I believe Hearthstone finals, and Heroes finals, and then they have 120 stations for Overwatch. It's like EURTB.
How come Vegas didn't get Overwatch stations, Jake?
I don't know,
'Cause the
man.
world hates us,
Because yeah, I don't know. um,
You guys need some alone time.
yeah, Hearthstone 25 grand, 176,000 for Heroes. Heroes gets more money than you guys do.
Yeah, why?
I mean, as much as
Come
playing
on.
Overwatch would have been awesome, there's always going to be that like how many people showed up just to play Overwatch.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
EU getting more money than us from the regionals.
Well,
They're
ESL
gonna
put
get less
that
money
in.
than us from BlizzCon, so they
That's true. So
gotta make up for it somewhere.
And this is basically BlizzCon for Europe, right? It's a lot harder to travel from Russia to LA than it is to travel from Vegas to LA, right? You could drive.
Are you
So-
sure, Jack? You can't just take a train like 2 hours to get there.
Shut up.
So good.
So this is let's just talk about Europe. I mean, Bob ? They're looking really good. We just saw great results out of them last week.
Bob's God's here, man.
But
They're pretty good.
Liquid, a month ago, everyone would have told you they're the favorites. Navi has been strong for quite a while.
Rocket. They got
Yeah,
Then they got first
They
in
did.
the last qualifier.
they did.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think compared to NA, there's a lot more contenders to just like take the whole event.
I think it's almost impossible to predict who's going to
No,
win.
it'll be Bob and Navi.
Bob,
Wow.
I would pick Bob for one of the two.
That's the funny thing, is like I think Bob probably is the most likely team. And I find it insane that they don't have a sponsor yet.
They do.
Ooh.
Oh.
Sorry,
Okay.
what was that? Hello?
I can guess immediately who it is, because there's one big org that used to be involved in Heroes that doesn't have a team right now.
Can I guess out loud?
Actually, no,
Well,
I
that's
could,
stopping you from guessing anything.
Dignitas?
Whether he's going to confirm
that would
it
be
or
my
not.
guess. That would be my guess.
Whether he's going to confirm it, that's
it's
the other-
Zoya. He's probably joking that they're going to be the second tempo team.
Oh, speculation.
Damn.
What was that? You smile a little bit over there? What's
Tempe
that?
you.
What's that?
Isn't that guy that Zoya likes, Bakery or whatever, on that team or
Yeah.
something?
I like all of
Oh.
them. Bakery, ADRD, Snitch, Harmony, Ethereal Angel. They're all good. It's not us, by the way, people.
Tempo Storm.
I wish I would have been able to pull that off, but
Tempo Maelstrom.
damn
oh,
you,
God.
Reynad.
Contenders, you can see
Oh, you're
they've
bossing the
got.
bus. That's cool.
Oh, I like shit talk him every day about it. Like, there's like a daily message I send Reynad, like, we could have had them, and he's like, okay.
Cool story, brother.
Thanks, Jared. So I'm very excited to see it all unfold. And then we have Korea.
Well, we can't. Wait, hold on. Gotta hype up my boys Virtus Pro.
Oh
Yeah, dude.
BKB.
Yeah, I was waiting for no one said Versus Pro. What the hell, guys?
Well,
What up?
Dunk, now's your chance.
Gotta hang out with my
Pronounce
Russians.
his name.
No.
Bakagomagade.
I hung out with
I don't think
those
you're
guys a ton. I
Yeah.
hung out with those guys a ton
They're awesome.
and never locked down pronouncing names. So I'm gonna not do that now.
so let's just talk about Virtus Pro very quickly because we had BKB on the show, our last episode, and they're boot camping until BlizzCon. Like,
They are boot camping, and they're also changing they're swapping roles in their roster.
right. So
Sevkaja is now on one of the damage roles.
Shekhavez.
Sevka.
No,
Sevka.
Sevkaja.
Sevka.
Sefka.
Sevka.
It's okay. Before I heard them say it, I called them cabbage for a while.
No, they're more than capable of taking this tournament. Like, especially with that mentality. Like, we're gonna boot camp for a month, and then we're gonna go straight to this event, and we're gonna rock nerds. Like I said, I have no predictions. I can't make them. I'm gonna have to make them next week, but it's tough, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can do it. I believe.
This, like, okay, so we would know going into NA that, like, half the teams probably weren't, like, going to be able to, like, compete. I think every team here has a reasonable chance. Like, even Pirates in Pajamas, like, they've
Yep.
shown some solid results lately.
They have.
Like, every team here, like, has a chance where I honestly would not have even, like, pretended to think that for NA. So EU is going to be a really stacked competition. I'm really hyped about that.
I like that page. Can you leave it there, Jake? Scroll up a bit. There you go. There. We're good.
What's wrong? I don't like
Oh
that.
man, look at that! Look at those little trophies. How do
Good faces there.
you guys bring the trophies home? You have it with
Move
you?
the Cloud9 Americas part. I want to see Calf's dumb face.
You can't.
Incoming Twitch emote.
Yeah, Cal's face in this picture is godlike.
Where's your trophies?
I've got it.
Show it.
I
Calf has it right
my
there.
beard earlier and the stream.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's like a pylon.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yo, I'm gonna say MSI one-off random tournament. They gave medals to second and third place to show they were,
Hey.
whatever.
They showed up, you know.
No medals for second place at BlizzCon. Or
Wow.
BlizzCon. We didn't
You're
get any.
right. I didn't
Damn,
realize that.
So many handsome nerds on this page. Look at this
Huh.
guy.
You got giant tickets.
Look at these guys.
Yeah, we got that giant ticket. Guess what we did with it? It got
Wait,
taken
it
away
doesn't
with us backstage. We didn't keep it. No, we didn't keep it. The moment we
Yeah.
got off stage, they took it from us.
Yeah, us too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that anyway?
Bring
Oh,
it
it's
to Blizzcon
another-
and show up at the door and be like, checking this thing
No,
out.
I
I can
took
go inside now.
I do. This is not something I talked about earlier when we were talking about both the teams qualifying for BlizzCon, but this does confirm that Tempo Storm Theodore will be at BlizzCon this year, everybody.
Wow.
And you're going to be able to sign, get an autographed paw or whatever, hoof,
Potograph.
Paw.
and it's going to be hype.
We're having so much fun with this Oya.
Dude, so there was a legit amount of people asking, like, where's Theodore at Vegas? Like,
Or
when we were
was
at the signing booth, they're like, where's Theodore?
Damn.
He will be at BlizzCon. He will be at BlizzCon.
So, E-Star, Team YL, Cloud9 Tempo. We just talked about Europe, the two teams we expect. For Korea, though, there will only be one. And what stands is Snake, DK, and MVP Black.
Yes.
But if you guys caught the games the other night, we have to talk about the series between Snake and MVP Black. Because MVP Black opens up this
Spoilers.
best of 5. This is spoiler time if you guys haven't caught the
It
VOD
was a
yet.
while ago.
This is on the OGN Global. Is OGN Global YouTube, I think, is the channel.
When have, like, just like the derail really quick, when have we ever been concerned about spoilers in like an esports like
You're right.
talk show?
You're right. You're right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So this was on twitch.tv/ or youtube.com/OGN Global. I think you can get the VODs there. But anyways, they open up their draft. First pick Sonya, which is starting to become a thing. Actually, we're seeing that from a lot of teams. And then in the second rotation, they get 2 more picks and they grab Karazim. I forget what the other here was, like Jaina or something pretty normal. They go for Karazim, an early Karazim. But in their final rotation, they grab Tychus, and this is on Infernal Shrines. And they were basically doing a composition where they were keeping Odin well in the back. Odin was bombarding, and not only was Odin doing a lot of damage, but it was getting all the last hits on the skulls, which was insane. So they were getting lots of John Cena's, lots of Immortals. But like the level of play, yeah, you're right. I always call them Immortals. I hate that. The level of play that we saw out of them was like Karazim. Mary Day is a god. Like holy crap, he made some ridiculous plays in that game with Karazim, and just they dismantled Snake. They really did. They destroyed them. They made this like number 2, number 3 Korean team look like garbage.
I don't think that means Tychus is like. I think it fit well to the battleground and the composition. Like there was just very little dive from the enemy team.
I agree,
and it was a smart pick. Not something we're going to see all the time. Don't
I agree.
Get that opinion.
And actually, Snake actually picked Tychus the next game to try to use it against them, and they got bodied. They got bodied. Like they got rolled game 2 and 3.
So that's it's a big deal that 3-0 happened for sure, because in the group stage they went 3-2 in a very, very close series, and a lot of people had put these two teams kind of on the same tier, but that looks to be a lot less convincing now. And MVP, I think a lot of people would say, are the shoo-ins to go to Blizzcon. I mean, we'll see when the tournament's done, but I wish we could get 2 teams out of that region.
Me too, man.
Nothing against Taiwan. We haven't really seen a lot of those guys, but I just find it a bit peculiar that they didn't get rolled into C, and we didn't just get two teams to qualify out of Korea.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
at the
strange.
time when they made it, I think it was probably like, well, Korea's maybe not as strong of a region, and there was a time maybe 6-8 months ago that was true.
I actually never thought about it, but I have to agree with you entirely. That'd be a great thing to do. It was too late, but
Yeah, but it is a shame because I think that it would be awesome to see both of those teams there.
So on the first weekend of October, it will be the
busy.
Korea finals and the Europe finals and the Taiwan finals. So October 3rd, 4th, that's when it's all concluded. We know the 8 teams going to BlizzCon on that evening. So that's a big weekend for Heroes. That is going to be, I mean, the time zones are a little bit different, but it's going to be stacked.
Can't wait.
Yes, good busy weekend. That will set us up for BlizzCon, which is going to be no doubt amazing. Other thing we should talk about is that the Chinese qualifiers happened almost 2, and by the time we get to BlizzCon, it'll have been what, 4 months? No, 3. A little over 3 months.
3.5. Well,
3.5, right? That's something to talk about.
No.
Especially because we now know that Edward Gaming is a really strong team, and a lot of people will say they are the strongest team in China right now, and maybe they weren't.
That's
up
what
to
the
that
commentators
caliber.
Said to us, right? The Chinese commentators, they're
right.
like, Edward's easily the best. So
it's like the same thing with WCA. We qualified like April 1st or June 1st, like 6 months till WCA later, like, like 6 months is just a long time to just expect performance, but like different rosters and shit, like like you shouldn't like never have like someone qualify for something and then it be like and this is just shots fired at Road to BlizzCon too. It shouldn't be any more than 2 months tops. Like if you qualify for something, you need to play in that.
I'll be real. I bet
soon.
the reason has to do with visa.
I mean, it could be the case.
I think that's probably the case. Like it's so difficult to get visas from China. That's probably the case actually. And they just want to make sure they're giving enough leeway because look what happened to the Latin American teams. Like the qualifier was too close to the actual event, and they weren't able to secure it. And then we left with a situation that's much less than optimal.
I just saw Team Liquid. That team was awesome, man. Liquid Chef.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff back in the day, guys. Good job. Look at you now, betraying your old blue colors to these new blue colors.
Betrayal will never be forgotten.
Probably not.
And you do like some angry thing.
Okay, so did we miss anything on tonight's episode?
Check them questions in the Reddit thread.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
we're
that.
down to about like 10 minutes before shoutouts.
C9 will get a gaming house
We
now.
got time.
I'm seeing a no from Dunk.
Probably not.
Why does C9 have such terrible taste in skins?
What?
Game 5, whatever mounts.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
What?
I agree.
Dude.
Just in general, outside of that, C9 skins really like they need to work on that. But their mount coordination, always top tier.
No, dude, we had some drafts
Except
where
for
we had
fans screwing up one
clean-
game.
Dude,
Yeah,
we had
every
clean
single-
mount synergy and character synergy every game, but then like
Except the
I
last
felt
one.
like our last game's draft was so bad for making a good looking
It's
team
tough.
and for putting things on sale. Like you guys made me pick fucking Mouth, Zoya. What's that about? How are you supposed to let me put Mouth on sale, dude?
And you made me
My-
pick Muradin.
Mouth,
God.
Verded, Tyranno,
Yeah.
like all these cheap heroes. Like
Blame
Yeah.
Tempo for that, dude. That's
They
their
banned out our
fault.
heroes.
Yeah.
It's funny too, like looking through those threads and like going back and watching Twitch chat, just like Tempo's comp is so expensive, please win. Just, like seeing shit like that. Are you kidding me? It's hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
At least you get the Candy King.
But yeah, no, okay, just like for people to know, like if you're like judging the fashion or like the the style of those two teams in the grand finals, they weren't allowed to pick master skins, and a lot of like the styles and like with synergies that you normally see, half of those are usually master skins. So, we were limited in our apparel for this event.
That is unfortunate.
All right, I know what I want to talk about.
No,
We talked about this briefly last week. The power of lane clear and warriors. Calf, as a warrior player, you have not been able to voice this. I'm just going to give you specifically the ability to talk about Knight Takes Pawn, the 300% damage on the Spirit Swoop on Rexxar, just the Skeletal Swing bonus damage to minions in general. All these new warriors have this great power for lane clear. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, honestly, I think beforehand there wasn't a lot of wave clear in the game. And if they want wave clear to be in the game, it seems fine for them to be giving it to warriors as long as they have to give up something for it. And then it should be standardized like across all warriors
Like
so
level
that
7
some aren't just
or
left out on
something?
the meta. Yeah, exactly. Like a little bit towards the mid game, so you can't just get free early game rotations where like you really want to try to garner an early advantage. You can't really because they're clearing the waves instantly. And the meta becomes more about your rotations than like the actual laning. So like at a moderate level, probably like at like 7. I think just give. It doesn't have to only be warriors too. Like it can be something that they can give to like all different classes. Just give them like an upgrade wave clear ability, so that if people want to if they want to focus on rotates and stuff like that, like just give them the option to. But yeah, how it is right now is just a little toxic because
Yeah,
it's just extremely early.
I feel like that'll change when the hero pool grows, because I do see that there is value in having heroes that do have early or easy wave clear to access. A very stylistic style of composition, Asmodan's building stacks, those get like made easier by those kind of heroes. So if you have a much broader hero pool, if you're just something like, let's run Asmodan, now we can bust out like Joanna or Leoric. But when it's literally those two, no matter what comp you're running, it is a bit much. But I could see like when you have like 10, 15 more warriors, they're like half of them do have good like wave clear at like 7 and stuff, like, and those aren't seen every single game, then that'll make more sense for like stylistic compositions and stuff. But for now, like you said, it's a bit like Leoric having wave clear for free. That's stupid. That's just dumb.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it while it's there. They need to give it like Tyrael Smite. They need to give it like Muradin Thunderclap, like stuff like that. Standardize it.
Next question. We had a good one. We didn't talk to. I know you played the video in the back, Jake. We haven't talked too much about the skins that are coming up. And we mentioned.
Oh, the Falstad one?
Yeah.
Is so sex.
Oh my gosh.
There's some good ones coming out. I was actually really pumped when I watched that video. I was like, at least every hero, I was excited about one of the variations. I'm usually like really picky about those too. Like the Samus, the skin coordination or the color tint for, I think it's the master skin on Lieutenant Morales, like A+ for that kind of stuff. And just Artanis just looks amazing.
Yeah, like there's like the Evangelion tint. There's the
Dude, the
Samus
Evangelion tint. Oh my god.
Is that the red one? I didn't watch Evangelion, so I don't know. Is it the red one, Jake?
I think it's the green and purple one, right? I didn't watch Evangelion either. But
Okay.
I
I thought
know
the
it's-
first
Wrong with
one
you
looked.
people.
I'm gonna watch. I'm actually probably gonna start watching it tonight. I'm dead serious too. Like
No, you're
I've been
not. Don't lie to
no,
me,
I have
Jake.
it on my computer already. I downloaded it today. I bought it today.
Mhm.
No, but honestly, I'm so pumped for all these games, and I've been saying for a long time. Everyone that asks me on my stream, they say, "Hey Jake, if you could add one hero into the game," this is a question I always ask our viewers from the Blizzard universe. Who would it be? I always say the Headless Horseman, and from WoW because I love Hollow's End. Like
I have been
love
on this show for 79 episodes. You have never once said that.
I have.
I've
You
never
have-
heard
you
that.
have
in my
Yeah.
whole
Neither
never
have I.
once said Headless Horseman in the history of 79 episodes of freaking Town Hall Heroes.
I say it on
I'm
my
calling
stream.
you out, buddy. This is horseshit.
I've explained it.
Okay?
I've explained the way I want.
horse.
I've explained on my stream like exactly how I want it to work. I want his pumpkin head to like have his second control group, but not be able to soak, but to be able to scout over lanes, and it would respond. So it'd be similar to Misha, but it's like a second control group to fly over lanes and scout and shit. Yeah, some of the squashlings is one of his heroics as like bombs that like can have a lot of control and like small like mini stuns, micro stuns. I think he'd be a cool hero. But anyways, I'm pretty pumped for the mount.
Vultures. Hello.
The vultures hype.
People have been
Finally.
asking about that for
Finally.
ages.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That one's good. Well, what were the other mounts? Zeratul's like surfboard. I don't. I don't remember.
I already got that ordered. Pre-ordering Legacy of the Void. I don't know why I did my voice.
That's the drama voice.
It takes 15 months to program that. We'll start programming.
So you guys, we didn't talk too much about this, but like the media stuff in general, like you guys had to film all these like videos and intros and stuff. And yeah, how was that? Like, I thought they came out really well. Like, just
Okay, so
like,
we were the
side-
very first team to do it, and like they were just like pretty like they were learning like how to do it with the teams, what shots to take and stuff. So it was like pretty serious, which is horseshit because every other team was making fun faces. Apparently, like every other team got to stand on some like the captain stood on some spinny thing. Like I saw Dunk doing that. We didn't get that. Like, better stuff. Like, you're seeing like Iacona flap his wings like Malfurion and stuff, like dumb shit like that.
What?
Just, like we were the test group, so we got to do all like the boring like. Everyone looked like badasses. But everyone else got to do fun stuff.
Man.
Flap his wings like Malfurion.
I don't know, dude. I felt like all the people actually doing the interviewing and stuff were cool. Or the interviewing, the photo taking, that sort of stuff. Like, they all seemed chill. Those guys were fine. But the process itself is kind of
it's
tedious.
tiring. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, hey, man, you got to do what you got to do to make it look good. That's
Ooh.
fine.
Oh yeah, too.
So,
Art-
It looked
I
good.
did see
fine.
that. I did see
Those
that.
videos
Twitter.
came out really
I have
well,
that pulled up.
and
Yes.
they had like great music underneath them. Like I was just sitting up on the desk, like get pumped up like every single time they play that stuff. So it was doing its job.
I feel like they should release longer versions. Like, so the versions that they used on stage and whatever for the interviews and stuff is like so little content relative to how much we made. I feel like we were answering interview questions for like an hour, and there was like 1 minute of answers played for the
Yeah.
on-stage stuff. And I just feel
True.
like there's no reason you couldn't just toss out a longer version on the internet or whatever somewhere. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal. And that way it at least feels like, you know, if people actually care enough to keep watching, they can do that.
Ooh.
You guys see this?
Oh, we don't need to
Dark.
talk about it. Move on.
Hello? LZ Gamer, looks like he's taken the captain role based on this graphic. He's been trying to start a new team for quite a while. With Tuark disbanding, I assume, I mean, I'd like to get a more official response from him, but I assume he's taken the helm for captain. Trader, the only remember from the original or
Only
prior
remake.
roster.
Link.
I like
It's on the screen, but
I'm on screen.
I can't see that.
at Tuark
Look-
Gaming.
Thank you.
At Tuark Gaming. I can't link.
Hmm.
Kubi, you
my
need to
God.
calm
Who's
down.
Insomnia and Crone? I've never seen those players.
Yeah.
I've seen those names, I feel like.
Sunshine? You guys
I've seen Sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Sunshine. I don't know any of the other two. I mean, cool. Tuark, you know, they went through their little rough phases. It's interesting to see that only one member returned.
Hello.
But yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I love you one from me, Kubi.
It's good to see.
It's an interesting.
It's cool as
Interesting.
No, you said
from
it's
the
good.
organization's
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I
It is
get you.
cool
I
that
just
they
wanted to
stick
put
with
you under the
heroes and
bus.
they didn't
I
disband.
see.
It is also cool that they didn't stick with that original roster because, okay, Well, it's cool that they're back, and it's not completely fresh blood, but at least a fresh roster. I don't know. Like it's this
What
is
am
the
I
perfect
looking
time
at?
for this roster to play together because no eyes are going to be on them for the next 3 months. Because
Oh
unfortunately, if you're
man,
not in
Jared.
BlizzCon, that's not shots fired. They're
No,
not in
that's
BlizzCon.
legit.
No
I get
one's
that.
going to be looking at them. So if you're a brand new roster, like look what happened when Starlos came out. There's nothing going on. So all everyone was doing was like, up, brand new team house. You guys are underperforming so hard. No one's watching Go Fours right now. Everyone's leading into BlizzCon where Tempo and C9 are taking on the world. So if you're a brand new roster, this is the time to, build yourself up and, because suddenly after BlizzCon, it's like, okay, we're calmed down. What now? Oh shit, 2 arcs, they're not bad. Oh wow, you spent the last 3 months training, and it proves, it's proven. This is the perfect time for them.
I think it's going to be important as a team, like as a third tier team in NA. I think there's going to be openings in the scene for you to get relevant places within like the Blizzard esports events that are going to happen starting next year. So I think now is actually a really good time for people who think they want to get in to ramp up. Like Murlocs, Cog, Cole, their spots are pretty secure. If they're going to something, it's doubtful some teams are going to come up and like way overtake them or us or Tempo in the immediate future. But I think the other spots, however much room there is at like reasonable prize payouts or like places in a league or whatever happens, like because we know Blizzard wants to do stuff after the next year, whatever happens, I think now is the time you have to start putting together those teams and working on those rosters because it takes a lot of time, and maybe it'll work out for them.
I can say right now, with this event hitting like 50,000 viewers, as like a caster producer kind of guy, I've gotten so many emails about, hey, we're starting a new tournament series. Hey, we're gonna do like this mount prize pool every month. Hey, we're doing a league. Hey, do you want to produce this? Hey, there's opportunity on the horizon, is what I'm trying to say. There is going to be a lot of events. A lot of teams are thinking, oh man, if it's just going to be BlizzCon, and if we didn't qualify for BlizzCon, there's nothing for us. No, teams are starting to see that Heroes is on the rise. I mean, the new Spectator client, the support Blizzard's giving, other people want a piece of that cake, and if they do well, they're going to get Blizzard support on top of it. So definitely, if you're looking to start a team, like Dunk just said, it's a good time to do that.
I just said that too. Don't just give.
No, you
Dunk,
didn't, Zoya.
Don't just give Dunk credit. Share it.
That's fine. I'll share with Zoya only because we're coming on global competition at BlizzCon. We need to be on the same page.
Same page, man. Same page.
For now.
For now.
For now.
All right.
Until we meet each other in the finals, then
Until we meet each other in round of 4 because of the way the freaking group
Yes.
stages work out. Like,
rip.
Dees.
Peace.
Format.
All right.
Last Reddit question. Do you think there were too many casters? 7 casters felt like a lot.
No.
Not commenting on the casting itself, but there was a lack of consistency from the caster just because they were swapping the roles up too much.
I mean, Jake and Kubi can talk more on this. Working just like a regular event is exhausting. Working a live event where you have 300 people like making you change your clothes always, you're getting yelled at to be went on around here and shit. That's just exhausting. You cannot be on the stage 24/7. You need breaks. So
You need breaks, but when you have, Tim casting 2 matches, and then Corey, you cast, 3 matches out of 14?
is that including being analyst though?
No.
I was on analyst a lot more.
No. But still, it feels like a little, maybe 1 less.
That's what I was thinking. I felt like it was maybe just the barest amount oversaturated is all.
Okay.
That would be the case if every caster was able to fill in the analyst role. But when only half of them can do it, then you
But
Or
you need
maybe,
the extra casters.
like, you could have more... You could keep, like, the 1 or 2 less casters if you had a dedicated analyst desk or something, too. Like, that's an option.
Well, that's something
To
we've been
fill
trying to
more...
do for a
That lets
while.
them fill more airtime, too, like, without stressing those guys who are actually doing the casting or whatever. So, like, that's where we see a lot of other games go. I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
like what we
surprised to see
saw
happen
from
here.
was it WCA Poland?
Yeah.
Like that was the exact format they had. They had 2 casters casting the desk just for the game, and then anytime outside the game, it was 4 people at an actual analyst desk, like filling that time.
Well, they brought in more casters because we've mentioned the cast in the past. Like, wasn't it in July, Kubi, that you literally were on stage for every set, but like 1 because you were either analyst because no one else could do it, or you were casting because
in the July
wanna
Opens
cast.
and stuff?
In
Yeah.
the July Open,
Yeah.
like you literally were on stage every single time.
Yeah, usually the opens day 2. I think I was on the whole time. Which I mean, I can do it. Just
But
some
this is
people
different.
are.
This is a live.
Yeah, you're
environment.
right. You're right about
Like,
that. You're right about that.
I can understand why you would have 7. Personally, like if I was casting it, more screen time, more time I'm casting, I'm gonna be happy with that. But I can see from Blizzard's perspective why you would want more numbers there, because there was an issue in a non-live environment where Kubi was overworked. So it could, if it happened again in a LAN, you don't want a mental breakdown, or
Honestly,
you want to just make sure they're happy and stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of flaws in the way the system it works to be an analyst. Though you have to like get up and get off the desk and run back and sit in the production room and
Yeah.
talk to a replay coordinator that doesn't understand the game well enough to pick those key moments that we want to talk about, and that forces like a lot of like it's a different kind of like stress, right? If he was just sitting there at the desk watching the game and then like, hey, let's talk about it, I feel like that would be a little bit less work. You're kind of being pulled out of something and thrown into a different room where you don't necessarily have your own place to relax. That's my perspective from when I did it. But
Okay, I think that wraps up. I think that's all the Reddit points.
cool.
Stuff.
Let's
that
go.
We'll cover, so we can go to shout outs.
I want to just before we even get to normal shout outs,
Mhm.
a big shout out to everyone on the show. The production this weekend, there was about 120 people working. Everyone busted their ass in every aspect of the broadcast, but specifically all of the co-commentators and talent.
Hold up, before you get to that point, just like you guys don't see this, he just dropped that number. 120 people were working backstage.
Yep.
120 people. That's from the production crew. Those are the people who are on comms.
Yep.
120.
That's 120
Same.
walkie-talkies and different channel lines and
Yeah.
13
And-
cameras with operators for each one,
Yeah.
light people that execute lights, admins, people on stage, people in the TV truck. There's about 15
Yeah.
people in a TV truck, support PAs. You name it. Just the casting desk has 3 cameramen, an audio guy, a stage manager, and then a makeup artist, and then there's 2 more makeup artists that do all the other casters and players. It's a huge show. It's a lot of work.
It is. And some of the players that I talked to were just like, wow, we didn't really understand what actually went into these live productions, and we get that now. I don't know if you guys feel that same way, but you guys were back there. You saw how many people were running around, all the computers that were back there, the gigantic truck in the back. There's a lot that goes into it for sure.
D the Hunter, you do count because you give us the sickest, sweetest stat sheets in the world, man. Shout outs to you, buddy. Seriously, you put up a lot of work, man. So let's just go to those normal shout outs. We'll start with Kubi.
Start with me. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
we're going to go down to me.
I think it's going to be a pretty quiet weekend for me. Obviously, things were very, very busy, and I'm honestly still quite adjusting to the time zone. So I don't think anything's going to be going on. I'm going to be trying to perhaps hop into SEL games and just very, kind of on the whim cast them a little bit, because I find myself watching them, and usually people would want to see a perspective where it's cast and also a comms perspective.
Yeah.
So I may be doing some of that in the future, perhaps with some random community members if they want to try their hand at casting in a sort of a low pressure environment. That's something I'll be looking into doing. Otherwise, there's really not a lot in terms of tournaments. Of course, I'm going to be checking out, the EU, all that stuff that's going to be going on the weekend of the 3rd and 4th. I'll be tuning in for all that. I think that's going to be it though until next week.
Kubi, can I cast with you in a low pressure environment?
Yeah, do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'd love to do some of
Yeah,
that.
that'd be fun. Let's do it.
Just a little bit of a throwback. Dunk Train was one of the original casters for Heroes of the Storm. He was casting Heroes of the Storm before Jake and Kubi.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true, yeah.
Wow.
I cast
very
replays
first-
I cast the
The
first.
replays don't count. Live tournaments.
ESL major.
No,
What was
the
it called back
ESV
then?
Championship Series.
I cast
Yeah,
the
that's what
that
it
was
was.
me and Dunk Train were casting that most of the time.
Oh,
The very
I was
first
doing the
league.
production too,
Yeah.
running the OBS and stuff for it. Oh my
Yep.
god!
What was
Just
the
a little
other?
bit of an old school throwback.
What was the other one that I did that I started? I didn't start it, but that
You
guy
did Nexus Champ,
Nexus
right?
Champ. Yeah, I did the first day of that. That was my
Nice.
first cast. I cast with a guy named Solid. It was Solid and Solid Jake.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That was over a year ago now. But Dunk, Jared, shout outs for you, buddy.
Shout out to Tepestorm and all of our sponsors, Twitch, Namecheap, G2A, and Funk. Make sure you go over to tempostorm.com. The site's been revamped. It looks amazing. You have Heroes articles being written every day now. So just like general articles and stuff, not just like the guides and stuff that the players write. We're also looking. I am looking for more content creators for the website and the YouTube channel. So if you're interested, it is paid. It is paid. And if you're interested in doing it, email me at zoya@tempostorm.com.
Are you looking for video editors? Or are you looking for people to
We're
actually
looking for
make
content
content?
creators.
Okay,
Content creators. So
creators,
videos, guides, and articles. You get paid a flat amount per. I'll just go ahead and say $40 per piece of content that you create. So if you are interested in that,
So if I draw you like a picture of Tassadar, can I get $40?
Yes.
No, it's got to be approved for the website, which I won't approve that nonsense, Jake. But yeah, email me at zoya@tempostorm.com. Thanks for everyone who cheered us on this week and all the fans that came and said hi. Everyone's like thinking we're disappointed about that loss, but we qualified for BlizzCon, and that's really all that matters to us. We're the two best NA teams are going to the biggest stage in the world for Heroes, and we're going to show everyone that we matter. As for me personally, I've got a lot of stuff I'm going to be casting soon. Don't know exactly what I can say yet or when things are happening, but I've got like 2 or 3 gigs lined up. So if you enjoy my casting, you can see me casting soon. Just follow me on Twitter at TempoZoya, and I'll be poking those out here and there, as well as I'll be streaming this week. I haven't streamed in a while. The travel, I'm not as tough as Jake, man. Jake like travels just as much as me, sometimes more. And he just immediately gets home and streams. And like when
You
I'm
think I'm tough? Kubi gets off airplanes and goes straight to work.
Straight to work, yeah.
Screw
He
that,
works a full-time
man.
job too, man. But I'm gonna try and stream sometime this week. If not this week, because I'm a little weak girl, I'll be streaming next week. But yeah, again, another shout out to all the people that we worked with this weekend and made the show awesome because it was great.
I can echo that too. All the support from the casting perspective, it does mean a lot, guys. I mean, we see all the feedback on Reddit and Twitter and everything, and it means a lot when you guys are jumping in and saying great job and all this stuff, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, you actually have no idea how much it means to receive support in those regards, right? I mean, people will give us props. It carries a lot of weight, both for us mentally, but for other reasons as well. But Donkey, go.
Well, first things first, I'll handle this for me and Kath. Shoutouts to our sponsors: G2A, Logitech, ZAM, BenQ, HyperX, Alienware, HTC, Logclass, Intel, Loot Crate, Need for Speed USA, NVIDIA, Overwolf, and DraftKings. Whew.
Nailed
Good
it.
at that, boys. All right, no, for real though. Additionally, I'd definitely like to shout out everyone who came to the Vegas event. Obviously, just to reiterate what everyone's saying already, like, you guys really just don't know how much it means when like you're up on that stage and you see people with signs and stuff like for your team. It's just an amazing feeling, and I thank you so much for everyone who came out. Shout outs to like my family who came out and supported me. Chief, who came out, was the loudest person in the audience by a very wide margin. Like, those guys are all great. Yeah, thanks so much for all my friends and stuff who supported me with that. The mix, you guys know who you are. And then the casters, I definitely felt like stepped up. So props to you guys too this weekend. And production for the event was amazing. So much love all around, guys. Really happy with how the Vegas event turned out.
Calf, buddy.
How am I supposed to outdo that? Dunk Train just basically said everything. But yeah, I mean, all the sponsors, especially our fans, though, like that really made my weekend, and that's really going to give me a lot more energy going into BlizzCon, knowing that we have that kind of support. So that was a huge deal. And also my wonderful girlfriend at Diva Jilly, I believe is her Twitter.
Yes. Yep.
Go ahead and follow her. She really supports me behind the scenes. Makes me food. And important things like that.
She's been supporting esports for a long. She donated to Kings of the Storm prize pool back in the day. She's been awesome, seriously. So,
don't you have this thing that you've been doing lately that's getting good viewership too that you should probably plug?
Are you talking about my stream?
Yeah, your stream.
Nice. That was really subtle of you. But yeah, of course, come to my stream. I stream every day, Monday through Friday, about 2 p.m. till sometime in the evening. It's twitch.tv/King Caffeine.
Calf, why don't you post in the chat so people can just click your name and follow you right there? Seriously, it's they're all in the chat right now. They can just follow straight from the chat if you post in the message.
Wow, my link got denied in the chat.
Hey, mine did it.
Damn, Calf's a mod.
Wow. I've been here like 20 times.
I know, I'm gonna mod you right now.
Is it just Dunk Train?
My
He's there in chat. I
God.
see him.
There, now you're mod.
Unbelievable. Wrecked.
On myself, there's some really cool announcements coming out soon. I already mentioned like a lot of the tournament series that could be coming up. I've talked about like just like Kubi said, he's doing SCL matches. I'm probably just gonna hop in and cast SCL during the day on weekdays once in a while. Weekends are gonna. There's a lot of things coming up. I'm going away this coming weekend, but after that, it's just gonna be jam packed full of Heroes content just about every weekend. So the scene is looking to be in a great place. A big shout out to basically the whole crew going from the June, July, and August Open to I think all of us, Kubi, Gilly, Babel, even Forecourt, even though he wasn't America's. I think we all grew a lot through that process. And it's just been really fun meeting and working with each other and teaching each other things, like learning new things and giving each other feedback. Stop that. And becoming a better not only caster but entertainer, because that's kind of our job at the end of the day. And knowing a lot about the game, but having a good time and learning how to be on camera, it's been a journey, and we've kind of been rushed through it. But I think the biggest shout out to Blizzard for just giving us the opportunity to do this, and for the fans putting up with us, I suppose.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's been, and I think that's gonna do it for us here.
Thank you,
we've
Dunk and Calf, for
Yeah.
coming on. We do appreciate it a lot, and wanted to give you guys
Congrats
some
on the win.
spotlight. Yes, huge
Thank
congrats
you.
on the win.
Thanks for having us.
qualifying Temple Storm and Cloud9. We wanted to give you guys a little bit more spotlight. I know you've gotten enough of it, but wanted to hear in a little bit more of a personal environment how you felt about the whole thing.
Next week we
Thank
will
you,
be
guys.
having on Cathan Luck and Blinks.
No, it's going to be Hans and Blink.
Hans and Blinks. Hans and Blinks.
Next week. Yeah.
So next week we're gonna have Hans and Blinks on. The week after that, we're gonna try to get on 2 players from the Europe champs, ideally the winning team, similar to this. And then we've talked to guys like Artosis for future episodes to keep things up. So we've got a lot of cool things planned for the future. We really just want to help build this story going into BlizzCon the best we can.
Best thing you can do to hype up BlizzCon is click on our Teespring link, teespring.com/townhallheroes. We have
gosh,
a
we haven't
lot of
talked about it all
awesome
episode.
shirts.
Got
There are 4 days left on them. These are the last chance you guys have to get shirts before BlizzCon.
man, we
they look
suck.
freaking great, and so we're doing with all the money we earn. We're doing something with it, whether it's into a tournament or a show match or something for the community. So all
Maybe we
proceeds
could put into the meetup at BlizzCon.
or the meetup something. We're gonna do something cool with
We'll
the
talk
money
about
we
that
earn
later.
from this.
Yeah.
It's only Town Hall. Sorry, it's teespring.com/townhall. 4 days left. We've
65
already sold.
sold. Thank you guys.
65 sold, and
Yeah,
the
it means a
colors
lot.
are so much better this time. I
Yeah.
freaking love the ones we have.
I just got one, the black one. There's also a C9 colored one, so you guys should order that one.
I see what you did there. Nice.
Shout out to Totino's and Video and
And video
and Gigaboot.
and video games.
Oh god.
And we're gonna do Caldor at some point in October as well.
Yeah, we'd love. I mean, we're like running out of time. It's crazy.
Yeah,
There's
it's
just so
busy.
many people that we need to try to get on
Yeah.
before we go to BlizzCon. But we're gonna do our best to represent
Yeah.
all of those regions and the
Caldor's put a lot of
personalities
work
in
into
those
this
areas.
community, and it's overdue to have him on the show. So look forward to that in the future. I can't change the scene for the sign out like I normally would because XSplit is completely frozen. I actually think I have to hit Alt F4 to end this all. Thanks for tuning into Town Hall 79. We will be back next week with our 80th episode and a big preview for the European finals. See you then.
Boom, 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 boom.